Alright, so, last week I was not here Wednesday through Saturday because I was traveling to Chicago. I think I need to lower this a little bit more because that music is real intense. But yeah, last Wednesday I traveled to Chicago. The primary objective... Let me fix my mic a little bit. The primary objective of my trip to Chicago was the Nier concert happening there on Friday night. Now, originally, the Nier concert on Friday night there in Chicago was the only Nier concert in the entire U.S. They eventually added a second night in Chicago, and they added a night in L.A. the Wednesday after. And one of the people I met there, actually, we'll get into that, but one of the people I met is from LA, and he sure would have loved to know that, like, hey, there's going to be a concert in LA, so I don't have to travel to Chicago. But the silver lining is he got to go to the Galloping Ghost Arcade too. That's kind of where I ran into him. This mic is still clipping a little bit, so I'm just kind of like continuously fiddling with the gain until it stops doing that too much. But yeah, so just to get started, vacation started before I even left. This first image down here, I don't know why I'm opening it there, other than to show the tweet text, I guess. But vacation started before I even left home. This is a picture from the Minato Japanese seafood buffet, which it's a chain. There's a few of them. There was one very close to me. I got there, like, right when they opened. Nobody else had touched any of this yet. So, like, everything is just, like, totally pristine. Has not been foraged at all yet. So that was kind of, like, I made a comment about, like, the high art of the untouched buffet line. I think I had another picture. Yeah, this is the dessert line at the buffet. This was after people were already here, clearly. But, they got a bunch of fruit, they got a couple kinds of cookies, they got a couple kinds of, like, mousse and yogurt and stuff. I think they usually have, like, some kind of gelatin over there, tiramisu, and, like, a bunch of, like, miniature cakes and stuff, which is neat. This place is really good. If you ever find yourself in the northeastern U.S., New York and New Jersey definitely have a few of these. I forget what other states they're in. I think there's one in, like, Natick, Massachusetts, which is near Boston. That's what I vaguely remember, because, like, it's written on the packages that their chopsticks come in have all the locations written, so, like, I vaguely remember them. But yeah, so that was before we even left. I even left. Because I figured that way I wouldn't have to worry about, like, eating at the airport or on the plane. On the plane, though, given that... So, my flight there was a little bit delayed, from what I recall. So, on the way there... Actually, one thing I have to give a shout-out to is, Zallard 1 and Sinister 1 did a recap of... Not just a recap, but also, like, a retrospective on the whole ordeal coming to, like, doing the blindfolded Mike Tyson's Punch-Out run at AGDQ this year, which was amazing to watch. But the stuff that they went through in their recap, and their retrospective, just, like, shed so much more light on just, like, sort of, like, their mental state going into it, and just how tenuous of a situation it was. So, like, I highly recommend going and checking that out. The reason I mention that is I watched their... watched their recap partly on the flight out and partly on the flight back. So that was real cool. I was glad that I, like, made sure to, like, download that to my phone beforehand. But yeah, on the flight, since I've been doing a lot of Crystallis any %, I decided to try my hand at it on the plane. I didn't get past, like... I don't know, I ended up just practicing because I actually, for the first time, died in the waterfall cave after getting the Sword of Water, doing the grind on the Medusas, which is a very common place to die, but I hadn't died there yet. So I kind of just, like, spent time focusing on that. That's how it ended up turning out. So I didn't actually complete a run on the flight, which isn't really a big deal. But yeah, that's me keeping myself occupied with the Surface Book and the Xbox One controller. Once we actually got to Chicago, my room was actually a pretty neat setup. It had, like, I'm pretty sure that's like a convertible sofa bed that I pretty much didn't use, but like, the setup's really cool because there's also a television over there, easy access to HDMI. This was at the DoubleTree by Hilton. If you look for it on Google Maps, it's the DoubleTree by Hilton Chicago O'Hare, but it's like a block north of the Rosemont Theater. So like, I decided to just keep things simple, stay in that area. The walls are definitely pretty damn thin. There's like zero soundproofing. Well, there's a little bit of soundproofing, but like, you can hear shit going on next door. I'm pretty sure I heard the guy next door snoring. But like, I come prepared. I have earplugs, so it was fine. It was mostly fine. And no one was like super loud, so it was pretty okay. The funny thing is, their elevators, I'm assuming this was done for the sake of guests, but like, the little ding that goes off when the elevator reaches your floor is super, super quiet on the guest floors, but the doors in the elevator themselves are like way louder than the ding is. When the doors close, they're just like super clunky. So it probably defeated the point. But yeah, so this room setup was nice, really liked it. Also, I took a picture and posted it in Elegy's Discord, because I was planning to meet up with Elegy during this trip anyway. He had offered. More on that later as well. So, like, I posted a picture and I was like, I'm watching Elegy from his own time zone. Because he's in Chicago area. Well, Chicagoland, outside of Chicago. But yeah, so a couple pictures of that. I don't even remember what the hell's on screen at this point. Oh no, that's still Elegy. He was playing Infamous? Is that the right series? I'm drawing a blank on the correct series right now. But yes, I had that on. So, first night I was there, went out to get my bearings and find a place to eat. Ended up finding a place, like, totally last minute on the map. I had tried to study ahead in terms of, like, alright, what restaurants are here, because a lot of them are connected to hotels, which means you're going to pay out the ass to eat at them. Someone who works at the Rosemont Theater, goes by CHX42, I believe, met him at AGDQ, actually. He blatantly said, like, straight up, Rosemont area is just a money trap. And I'm like, yeah, I kind of expect that going in. But yeah, lo and behold, there's this Mexican restaurant that's a couple blocks south of where I was staying that actually has, like, semi-reasonable prices. Like, compared to anything else in the area, totally reasonable prices. I actually posted a picture in Metroid McFly's server, and it included the menu, and everyone was, like, taking stabs at, like, the price of the stuff on the menu. I'm like, dude, it's Rosemont area. This is a deal. Everything else in the area is highway robbery. But on the way there, passed by the Rosemont Theater, so I took a couple shots because, hey, this is where the event was going to take place on Friday night. This was Wednesday night. Am I still focused on the right? No, I'm not. I was like, why didn't that do anything? So, like, yeah, totally empty right now. Imagine there's going to be, you know, some folks actually, some activity actually out in front, whatnot, on the actual night. But this is what it looks like when it's completely empty. On the way to the Mexican restaurant, past this place, it says fresh seafood. I was kind of like, aren't you? Well, you're not totally landlocked, I guess, but I was just kind of like, you know, I come from the East Coast where, like, there's water on 3 sides of the island that I live on. I mean, I guess technically all 4, but, like, we're very close to Manhattan and the rest of New York. And I was just kind of like, you know, don't tell me about fresh seafood. But I didn't end up trying that place, though. That was definitely a place that was on the pricier side, so I was like, nah, pass, unless I get really bored. This is the place that I ended up going to. The sign isn't really, you know, anything, you know, super flashy or anything, but they had some nice ambiance going on inside, which we'll see in a moment. But first, to give you an idea of how cold it was outside, I could not see a damn thing when I walked into the place for the first couple minutes because my glasses were that fogged up. But yeah, so this was the picture that I had posted on McFly's server, because when we were at AGDQ, McFly was taking stabs at the Border Grill, which was the Mexican place 3 doors down from Supa Sion, that I was saying was really good, and he was like, dude, they don't even give you free chips and salsa, they're not legit. So I was like, alright, this place gave me free chips and salsa, they're legit, right? And then everybody started picking apart the menu, and the fact that I don't know. I mean, sure, $10.50 for nachos seems exorbitant, but like, figure pretty much any other restaurant in the area, you're paying high teens or 20 plus for anything. So, and combine that with the fact that this place isn't like run down. This place is actually fairly fancy, as you can see. I will double back to these shots. As you can see from these shots, like, this place is sort of trying to, like, keep up you know, a vibe, a presence of, like, alright, you know, we're kind of classy. And they had, like, you know, like, Mexican, like, salsa music and stuff going on, or whatever. I don't know all the genres, I'm not an expert of that, so, like, I can't tell you exactly what type of music it was. I'm pretty sure it was not bossa nova. But I was thinking, like, after listening to that music, I was like, I should go listen to those Toho Bossa Nova arrangement albums that I got a while back, that I never listened to. Because I'm always listening to, like, the, you know, the super bopping, like, techno stuff and whatnot. But, okay, what do we have here? We have, you have a choice of super salad. So that's another thing, is, like, okay, so the thing I got costs, like, you know, $14 or something. It also comes with soup or salad. I chose salad. That is probably the one thing I regret. The the vinaigrette dressing that this salad was kind of, like, drenched in at the bottom was coming back on me all night. So that was the one thing I regret. Probably should have tried a soup instead. The drink back there is a mango margarita. That was decent. And it was certainly huge. So, like, that was another, like, almost $10, but, like, I'm not gonna complain. Because I generally expect any alcoholic drink to be, you know, upper single digits anyway. And then this was... what the heck was the thing that I got? Let me go look at the menu again, because I can probably see it on here. Enchilada Suizas. No, not enchilada Suizas. But it was definitely Suiza. Oh, it was probably Burrito Suiza. That's probably what I ended up getting. Yeah, okay. So that's what this is. It's totally covered in stuff. It's totally full of stuff. It was good. I would absolutely go to this place again if I ended up in that area, because, again, it's also one of the best values in the area, I would say. If you're, like, if you decide to stay at a hotel very close to the Rosemont Theater for the purpose of going to something at that theater, then, this is probably one of the cheapest places you will find to eat, and it is absolutely no slouch. It's pretty good. So, Maria's Mexican Restaurant. That's enough of that. We can move on. This is Wednesday afternoon, like early afternoon, like 1 o'clock or something. I decided to walk to an Italian restaurant that I thought was nearby. It was at least a 15-minute walk. It was also slightly snowing. I took these pictures to highlight the fact, though, that when I went into this area, I was not sure what to expect of the pedestrian situation. And I actually tweeted about this, that, like, they actually had the sidewalks really well cleared in the Rosemont area. Not so much in the Brookfield area when I went to the arcade, but in the Rosemont area, sidewalks were very clear. There's pedestrian crossings in a lot of places. There's push-to-cross buttons in a lot of places. One of them didn't work for me. So, and the problem is, when they don't work, you kind of have to take your life in your hands, because the pedestrian traffic signal only turns to walk after you push that button. It never turns to walk automatically. So there was one intersection where I had to just gun it when it was clear. I mean, like, the light was green in my direction, but, like, you could have people turning and stuff. But yeah, so this is, in front of... What was this? Impact Field, which is like a small baseball field over there, and then the Pearl District is, I think, where I was headed. I forget if that's what this was. But Carmine's is the restaurant that I went to. But there's just like a small center with a few like shopping places and a couple restaurants over here. And Carmine's is this one over here. I don't think I got a closer shot of it than that. So we got free chips and salsa on Wednesday night. We got... Did I say Wednesday before? This was... Wait. Yeah, this was Thursday, because I arrived there Wednesday. We got free chips and salsa on Wednesday night. We got free breadsticks and bread at the Italian place on Thursday. Breadsticks were nice. That one that's got all the seeds was sort of like an everything breadstick of some sort. That was cool. I was going to get one of two things. Ended up going with... They had like a special of the day thing, which was like a linguine alfredo with shrimp, so that was neat. It might not look like much, but there was definitely enough there. Like, I almost had trouble finishing it. And I mean, Alfredo sauce kind of like gets to you after a while, kind of adds up. But that was cool. Did that. This is a random shot I took in the hotel I was staying at, because I just found this carpet mesmerizing. And, like, you can't see, like... I originally had taken a shot at night, too, and in which case you could also kind of see the carpet reflecting off the window at the end, so you can't really see that here, but, like, yeah. I just thought that was neat. Okay, fast forward another, like, 45 minutes from there, and we're in front of the arcade, took a lift there. The lift ride to the arcade cost more than being at the arcade. The Galloping Ghost Arcade operates on a flat $20, check-in fee. What's the word I'm looking for? Cover charge. That's what I'm looking for. So you walk in, you pay $20, you get a receipt. That receipt is good for re-entry anytime within the same day. They are open until 2 a.m. I think it's like 11 a.m. to 2 a.m. Yeah, so I spent a lot of time here on Thursday. Ended up making quite the day of it. I got there at around 3:15. I left there like 9 hours later. Let's scroll back to the tweets for a second, because, yeah, we had the Crystallis tweet. Oh, that's right. The big deal about the plane ride was there were a ton of empty seats to a point where, like, everybody spread out. So that's why I had, like, that. This was actually on the seat next to me. And, like, I had the whole row to myself. Mentioned the waterfall cave there. And, yeah, all of this was really fortunate because... The worst of the snowstorms did not coincide with my travel days. So, like, there was a bunch of snow the weekend before. I traveled midweek, missed it. There was, some other snow a little bit on Thursday. But all of it had passed, really, by the time I traveled back Saturday night. The only reason I was delayed getting home was due to wind on the JFK end of things. Back in New York. But yeah, I was commenting on the, how it was pedestrian friendly, so we got that. And, yeah, we in there. Expect a ton of pics or a recap. Here we are on the recap. I only posted a few of the pics. There are many more pictures than what I posted to Twitter. So I just started taking pictures of a bunch of random stuff. Mostly stuff that I recognized, but not in all cases. So we've got Galaxy Force here. They had quite a few, like, full-blown... Yeah, I guess JFK is, but I mean, like, can you blame them? They've got, like, 8 terminals and, how many international flights and whatnot. So, and the fact that it was wind and not, like, ground conditions, I'll grant them that. Like, if they're just doing it to be safe. But yeah, so the Galloping Ghost Arcade had a lot of, like, driver cockpit type games. It had a few interesting things. We will see pictures of a few of them. Just dispersed throughout. I'm pretty sure I have a picture of F-Zero AX in here, which I did not play. I played it once at GDQ. I didn't have a great time with it, so I figured I'm good. I don't need to play it again. But we got Smash TV, we got Street Fighter. There's your F-Zero AX on the right side. I'm not sure if I can tell what's over here, because it's at a really odd angle. And the light is shining off of that completely, so yeah, I can't read it. And can't quite see what's over there either. I don't know if anyone immediately recognizes that. But you can tell there's some other interesting setups here. Milwaukee's pretty reasonable. Alright, start taking pictures of more stuff. So we've got Gun Force, which is apparently by IREM. I've never played this. I didn't get a chance to play it there. Is this company Memetron? Really? Solar Warrior. I did not have time to play everything in the arcade. There's a lot of things in this arcade. Soul Calibur 2, right next to Giga Wing 2. So, yeah, I did not get a chance to play Giga Wing 2. Sonic Championship, Gunbird. What do we have over here? Die Hard Arcade, which I have a separate shot of that, actually, so let's move on over there. I didn't get a good shot of it. We got Ghostbusters next to it, clearly. This shot I did tweet because I know Zallard is always in pursuit of arcade cabinets that need dominating. The arcade cabinet near, I think it was the one near SGDQ, he's got, like, he just, like, completely cleared the high score list. He's got, like, it's like top score is ZCA, second score is, third one is Zal, fourth one is Lurd, fifth one is 1, and then there's a bunch of blank names after it. He just completely asserted dominance on it. And I think when I tweeted about this, he actually reacted specifically to the Super Punch-Out cab. I'm guessing he's seen more Punch-Out cabs in the wild than Super Punch-Out. But yeah, I was like, too bad I don't have Zallard's skills. Yeah, he was like, oh snap, a wild SPO cab. Oh no, this is gonna scroll up again. Spoiler warning, okay. I need to remember to middle click to open a new tab. Alright, so that was, yeah, I didn't even touch these games because I know I would be no match for them. What do we got over here? We're gonna come back to this one, actually. This is Gamshara, and, we'll get back to that later. What else do we have over here? Sunset Riders, I wanted to get a shot. So this is a, they have a lot of combined cabs where there's a switch underneath that you can toggle between games. So this had Sunset Riders and... Is this Cowboys of Moo Mesa? I have no idea what that is, but I was mostly interested in the Sunset Riders. I know that's a game that Zallard has had practice on, too. We also had, I guess, Captain Commando over here. Not sure if I can tell what's over there from here. Oh, we'll be seeing this guy again. You see him on the left side now. And actually, he was playing the Sunset Riders, wasn't he? Yeah, I believe so. We will introduce him shortly. Shadow Dancer, had to take a shot of this, because this was Cypherin's game at AGDQ, but, of course, he ran the Genesis version, which, as he explained to me, is very different than the arcade version. Like, even the bonus stages operate completely differently. The bonus stages in this are much more akin to, like, Shinobi bonus stages in arcade. You've got Altered Beast next to it. Shinobi was around here also. I think I have a shot of that. Yeah, here we go. So you've got, you got Shinobi... You've got Ghosts and Goblins, and you've got Ghouls and Ghosts. So you've got all those, side by side. Cypherin spent a bunch of time on the Ghouls and Ghosts cab, if I recall correctly, while we were there too. Knights of the Round, Bonk's Adventure, Return of the Jedi, Batman and Batman Forever. I did not pay super close attention to Batman Forever, but I'm assuming that it's probably as bad as the Super NES version. No, maybe not. I don't know. That's a pretty tall order. Okay, this I had to take a shot of. So, I'm assuming Zaki might not be in the audience right now, but this is a game that I've seen Zaki play on his streams. I did not recall seeing this in the game list, so I was super surprised to notice this in this corner. And it's got like the whole periscope setup and everything. I am super bad at this game. I tried playing it while I was there. It did not go well. I got to like the second stage or something. And the first stage they basically give to you. Let's see, we got Star Wars Racer. I should have tried playing this, but I didn't. And Hyperdrive. The Sailor Moon fighting game, because of course you have to have that. With Missile Command right next to it. Interesting, because that feels kind of... Well, actually, maybe this isn't like super... I don't know, because this is... Was Missile Command always Sega, or was there an older version, or am I just like... I'm stuck thinking of the Atari version of it. Like the Atari 2600 version. I didn't even notice that sitting over here, because, like, a lot of the other, like, super classic retro arcade cabs were, like, totally in another section of the arcade. So, I wasn't even looking for that there. Also... I don't know what this is next to it. It's obviously a Williams cabinet. And it's obviously sports-related of some sort, but I'm not sure what sport we're looking at. I'm guessing... Oh, wait, that's a puck, so it is hockey. I was second-guessing myself, thinking it was, like, basketball based on the thing at the bottom here, but no, it's hockey. Yeah, it says video hockey up there. I'm assuming it's hit the ice. There were a few hockey games here, I think. I forgot if I got any shots of any other ones. Let's see. Mega Man: The Power Battle and Rockman: The Power Fighters 2. Is it Rockman: The Power Fighters 2 or is it Rockman 2: The Power Fighters? I don't know which way that's supposed to be parsed. What is next to that? Did I get a shot of what was next to it? No, I did not. So I'm not actually sure what this is, but it's another Capcom thing. Osman. I did not take a stab at this myself. I have seen Zaki... I'm pretty sure I've seen Zaki once see this, so I had to take a picture of it anyway. They also had Strider, and I believe Strider 2. Don't know... I think I got a shot of that in here. Guilty Gear XX. Is this Accent Core? I'm assuming it is. I didn't spend any time with any fighting games, but they had a bunch of them. We had Ninja Turtles, the original arcade game, and Turtles in Time. I didn't spend time on those either, though. Crazy Taxi and Hydro Thunder. I should have tried Hydro Thunder, but I didn't get time on either of these. I mean, like, my entire first, like, half hour or so was just spent, like, trying to, like, canvas the area and get an idea of what was at my disposal. We've got X-Men. I'm kind of surprised I didn't see Cypherin go over to this. At least if he did, I didn't notice. Gun Frontier. Dolphin Blue, which I tried, and it feels super goofy. And Air Guys, which isn't this that fighting game that, like, it's only popular because it had Cloud in it? So, didn't spend time with that, but it's a thing that exists here. Bionic Commando. I'm pretty sure I'm pretty sure it was PJ that I watched playing that at some point. Chase HQ, Darkstalkers, Desert Breaker. Is that cab? Yeah, that's that cab. Is that Pitfall 2? Good God, didn't spend time with that. Oh, really? Huh. Yeah, I mean, I didn't own a PS1, so I missed most of the stuff in the PS1 generation. I went out of my way to play Chrono Cross because of the soundtrack. And, well, the soundtrack is really the best part of Chrono Cross. But yeah, so I didn't know anything about Air Guys on PS1, but EI saying it had RPG-ish, kind of semi-roguelite things in it. Yeah, I know you were talking about Air Guys. Or if I'm even pronouncing it correctly, for that matter. Ninja Spirit was an interesting looking game because your weapon has an insane hurtbox on it, but you will also get killed in ways you don't expect. Like, you will die surprisingly just out of nowhere. I wouldn't mind spending some time with that one to try to get used to it, though. I don't know. And surprisingly, this is IRM also. Like, this isn't a shmup of any sort, so, like, clearly IRM had its toes in different pools at different points in time. Oh yeah, and something I should point out that I haven't pointed out yet. Above every cab is a paper with the world record and the top 3 scores at this arcade, at the Galloping Ghost. So, they do require video proof. The guy staffing the front desk when I got there kind of explained it to me, because I was like, you know, I know a guy who's played the heck out of Shadow Warrior on Genesis, but I don't know if it's the same. And he's like, if they ever want to go for a high score, we just need them to video record it. But yeah, Cypherin would have to, like, specifically put in time on the arcade version to do that. We got the Battletoads arcade game. We got Virtua Fighter 2 right next to it. We've got JJ Squawkers, which, I want to say this display was having a problem, because it was doing some weird glitchy stuff even when it was just, like, booting up and showing the high scores and stuff, but then, like, JJ Squawkers is a game. Like, it wants you to not look at it. If you've ever seen JJ Squawkers, especially the final boss in it. Oh god. What is next to this? Because that looks familiar. Yeah, that's probably these cabs. Because we got Dodonpachi 2 B-Storm and Dodonpachi Diojo on the same cab. On the same setup. And then we've got Donpachi and Dodonpachi on the same setup over here. So, I spent a couple of turns on B-Storm. I could not remember what the heck I was doing in it. I think I got past the 3rd mid-boss once in one of my playthroughs on it. That was as far as I remembered. Oh, and next to that we had Dragon Blaze and Cypherin. I don't think I put any credits into Cypherin. I did put a credit into Daimahu, though, which I have a picture of somewhere. It's probably coming up soon. What do we have over here? Magical Tetris Challenge. Do I recognize... Oh, this is the Strider cabs. This is a really out-of-focus shot. I am sorry. But this is the Strider and Strider 2 cab right here. JoJo's Venture, because, of course, there's a JoJo game, I guess. I don't know what this is, but I see Funky Fighter there, so that's certainly a thing. Monkey Mole Panic. Oh, that's... Yeah, these actually have, like, separate... These are, like, whack-a-mole type situations over here. Killer Instinct cabinets, including 2. We'll have some more 2s later on. We'll have a couple of cabs that never technically existed that are pretty exciting. We've got Rygar, we've got Karnov, because we've got to have Karnov. Night Striker over there. I can't read this from this angle, but it's Data East, clearly. Oh, the Cliffhanger, I don't know what that says. And Tiki, I guess, on the other side of this, but, I mean, we only really care about Karnov. Elevator action. I didn't page McFly to this. I should have done that. I should have tweeted this and added McFly on it, because, like... Elevator action is just infamously, like, the worst NES game out of the games that TMR rated a 6 out of 10, along with Metroid. So, McFly was playing the NES version of this for a while. And I'm pretty sure there's an elevator action too, also. I might have seen that. Had to get a shot of Robotron Cab over here, being one of the games that inspired Assault Android Cactus. I did not spend any time on it, because I already spent time on it at SGDQ 2017. Fittingly enough, at the GDQ event that Assault Android Cactus got run at, there was a Robotron Cab. I don't think I've seen one at any GDQ since then. And I don't think I had seen it at AGDQ 2017. So, like, that was the one time it was there, and that seems like a heck of a coincidence. This was Moon Patrol next to it. Defender, Stargate. So, like, here you've got some of the more, like, classic things going on. Spider-Man the video game, I'm pretty sure... Yeah, we came back to this row later when Cypherin arrived. Haunted Castle is here. The Castlevania arcade game, which is based on the NES game, basically, is here. And then some other stuff. Oh, this was the same row as the Punch-Out cabs, too. Metal Slug. Is that a 6? Yeah, that's Metal Slug 6. I'm pretty sure I saw more than one Metal Slug here. And again, we will see pictures later of all the Neo Geo stuff as well. Here you go, here it is. The Earth was really hollow. Breaking news. This is the Daimahu cab. So you had 19XX and Daimahu on this, and you had Airbuster and... forget what was next that I might have a shot of that later. I gave Airbuster a try. And I think I have access to the Genesis version of that. I don't think I was able to find the arcade version of it to try myself here. Okay. Yeah, so this was... alright, so hang on. I'm pretty sure I checked and this wasn't as high of a score as I got during Daimahu's run in the Shmup Book Club, but I'm pretty sure I survived longer in this than I ever had during the Shmup Book Club, because I don't think I got beyond, like, the mid-boss of Stage 2, and I got farther than that here. Where the heck was... here it is. Yeah, so this is lower than my score during Shmup Book Club by, like, 160k. But, I still had a go of it, and got farther than I would have expected to, so... Are you great? We are great. And yeah, Robotron is rude as heck. I've only gotten, you know, like, I don't know, 6 or so levels in, maybe? I'm trying to remember, like, 3 years back here, and I really don't. I'm pretty sure Mr. Bond had better performance on that than I did. Alright. Here's the Mushihime-sama cab, and, this is Galen Firestone playing it. He will... I guess this is as good of a time to introduce him as ever, but I think I mentioned, was it during the SBC part of the stream tonight that I mentioned that, like, I forget how much I mentioned when, so all my memories are just kind of blurring together. Oh no, you know what it was? I was talking to someone at work about it. So Galen Firestone is an audio engineer, and he's also been a huge fan of the Nier series for, like, basically the duration of its existence. At least the existence of the Nier series. I don't know how far back he goes with Drakengard exactly, but I get the impression he's played them. So he was really looking forward to this concert, and you can find him on Twitter, Galen Firestone, Galen Firestone, no punctuation. His Twitch, I believe, has an underscore between the words, but his Twitter doesn't. He had some words about this concert. He was, like, I will talk about the concert later. He tore into it. And, like, I understand where he's coming from, and his reasons why. I feel like I was a little more forgiving about it. But he came here, because, like, you know, just like with me, like, this was maybe the one chance I was gonna get to come here, and that was why he came there, and, he has a friend who's, like, super into Toho games and stuff, and they were like, dude, if you find a Mushi cab, you gotta play Mushihime-sama. So he was trying it out. But yeah, I didn't actually, like, we didn't introduce ourselves to each other until later on, so we will get to that part. Yeah, I still haven't gotten to play, like, I want to play through the Toho games at least, like, 6 and up, because I know, like, 5 and lower were, like, on a super old engine. I really do want to spend some time with that series, because I really like the music, and, like, I've heard tons of remixes that are really cool. So, like, I would like to gain a deeper understanding and appreciation for, like, the characters and stuff, but, like, I don't know when I'm gonna get to it. It's just ridiculous how much of a fan following it has. But, okay, and further down the aisle, like, way down at, like, sort of the end where the light's hitting the floor, we had the Escaluda cab. We will see more of this later on in photos as well. And the Escalada cab was... So, one thing I will comment on is the cabs were definitely very unevenly balanced in terms of audio, but the Escalada cab was sufficiently loud. And, like, I remember Escalada always seeming quiet to me when I played it on emulator. And it was, like, really cool to be at a cab where, like, I could really hear the music and get into it and stuff. So, I had some fun with the Escalada cab. Even if I'm terrible at cave shmups and most arcade shmups. Alright, we had Metal Black and we had Raystorm on one cab. This is... You know what, EI, this is the 3D game I was trying to think of before, Raystorm. I tried that a little bit. It felt goofy as heck. It took very long for me to disassemble the one boss that I remember getting to. But I eventually, like, when I first was coming around, I didn't understand how to switch games, so I was just, like, trying a few things, at face value, but, eventually, later on, I spent some time talking to the guy at the front desk, actually, spent some time, like, showing him pictures from GDQ and stuff, showed him the arcade setup there, showed him, the picture I had of Gus doing practice, ahead of the Mushihime-sama Futari, that was Futari, right? Mushihime-sama Futari 1.5? Or was it... Or was it OG Mushi? I can't remember now. I'm brain farting here. But yeah, I showed him all that stuff. It was Futari. Okay, that's what I thought. But yeah, after doing all that, I was like, hey, I know you guys have a drink list, but I didn't see water on it. Could I get a water? And he's like, yeah, here, have this. It's on the house. And so, like, as thanks for me, like, talking to him a bunch, giving him, like, the inside scoop of GDQ, the guy who was on staff at that point in the day gave me, you know, a free water that probably would have cost me, like, $1 or $2 normally. So, I was real appreciative of that, because I go through water like a madman especially when I'm, like, you know, talking and elevating my voice like I am now. And naturally in an arcade, you kind of have to elevate your voice. Yeah, it was 1.01, I believe. That, Gus did. Like, the hardest version. But yeah, later on I came back and flipped this to Metal Black and played some of that, because I had also played some Metal Black with Aquas. We were just credit feeding it at that point. I think I legit got into stage 2 on 1 credit, mostly sight reading it. You know, just vaguely recalling. I might have even gotten to stage 3. I don't know. I probably have a score picture later. We'll see if it shows the stage. Oh yeah, okay, here it is. I wasn't wrong before. I was saying I thought I might have seen Gigawing and Mars Matrix together. I did. Gigawing 2 had its own separate cab, but Gigawing and Mars Matrix were on 1 cab. I did not touch this cab at all. Also, R-Type next to it. Didn't touch that either. I already know that R-Type doesn't like me and I don't like R-Type. I have zero experience with Mars Matrix. There were other things that, like, I wanted to spend time on, man. I know. I feel like I failed myself in how many things I didn't play, given that I was there for so many hours, but whatever. I tried. Ikaruga and Death Smiles. I did spend a couple of attempts on Ikaruga. I only got to, like... I didn't even get to the stage 2 boss. I feel bad. I know I've at least gotten into stage 3 on normal difficulty when we did Ikaruga for a month. Yeah, I'll have to try it at some point. I know it's been on the polls for SBC before. Although I couldn't remember whether it was, like, one of the things that was, like, put there as a troll choice or not. Here's the Gradius corner. So you've got Nemesis, you've got Gradius 2, and you've got Gradius 3. Did not spend time on any of these. I forgot the deal with the Nemesis name, because, like, I know that the Game Boy version of Gradius was named Nemesis, but I forgot whether it was, like, only called Nemesis in certain regions, or what exactly the deal was with that. But, yep, we got all those lined up right here. Actually, can we see the scores clearly from here? Kind of curious how they compare. So you've got... the highest on site was 614.5k. World record is supposedly, like, basically double that. Those look like much lower scores on Gradius 2 than on Nemesis, and I can't make out the Gradius 3 ones from there. That's interesting. So clearly the scores are not comparable at all between games. We got Light Force and Salamander 2. I forget if I popped a credit into Salamander 2 when I was here. If I did it, I think I did, and it did not last long. I was hilariously bad at it. We've got Raiden 2, Raiden Fighters 2. Did not spend time on any of those. I think I spot Dio here next to it. Here it is. So I'm real confused because, like, I kind of, like, when I got home and tried Dio again, I was like, I don't remember it sounding like this or looking quite like this. So, like, I don't know whether that might have been a game that didn't really have audio amped up at all in the arcade when I was there. But, like, I don't know, it just felt different to me. And unfortunately, neither of these pictures capture the controls. So I can't tell how many buttons it had there. I probably have another picture of this later. We'll see later. Hey, CHX. Yeah, I spent all of Thursday here. Yo, shoutouts to CHX. He gave me a couple of tips on the area. I'm gonna zoom back real fast. Well, actually, do I have any pictures of that in here? Yeah, I do. So, I asked CHX about restaurants in the area. I ended up settling on this one. This is Maria's Mexican Restaurant. This is like 2 blocks south of where I was staying, 1 block south of Rosemount Theater. This place has, like, most of the entrees and stuff for, like, $15 range. Which, compared to a lot of stuff on menus everywhere else in the area, seemed like a pretty good deal. And I was not disappointed. So, if you haven't checked that place out, that might be a place... Yeah. Like, I put a picture of this in Metroid McFly server just to show them, because, like, they were giving crap to the Mexican place near Super Saiyan at AGDQ. They were like, they don't even give you free chips. Like, that's not a legit Mexican place. And I was like, alright, this place gave me free chips. It's a legit Mexican place. But the photo also had the menu in it, and everyone just immediately started digging on the menu prices. I'm like, dude, you don't realize this is Rosemont. Like, everything else in this area is way more expensive than this. So yeah, like, I was absolutely super happy with finding that restaurant. Like, it's not like a hole in the wall. It's like a pretty classy looking joint. So, like, I was happy to find that place. I would absolutely go back there again if I ended up in that area again. Totally. And I found that at the absolute last minute. Like, I had been, like, studying ahead, like, looking at, okay, what restaurants aren't connected to hotels? What restaurants are? What am I going to end up paying for stuff? What kind of options do I have? I totally missed that restaurant until I got there, and then, like, I looked on Google Maps on my phone, and I was like, Maria's Mexican Restaurant. Wait, what's this? Yeah, like, I am willing to assume that there is no bigger arcade in the US, at the very least. If there is, I would be absolutely mind-boggled to see it. But yeah, I've just been going through, like, photos upon photos upon photos of all the cabs that were here. I tweeted a shot of the Punch-Out and Super Punch-Out cabs because Zallard follows me, so he was like, oh snap, a Wild SPO cab. I did not go to the pinball building. Cypherin told me it was, like, further down the street the other direction from where we went for food, but I was totally content to just go back to the arcade and spend time there. I'm much less of a pinball person. I don't know anything about pinball machines. But yeah, like, the fact that they just have, like, proper hardware for so many games, like, I've been to, like, a barcade in SF where, like, they had a couple multi-cabs, and then just mostly, like, dedicated fighting game cabs and stuff. But, like, this is amazing compared to any of that. And it's $20 and you get in for the whole day. It's ridiculous. So we've got Dio, which I kind of want to spend more time with Dio. I feel like I can get better at that, but I also die in many very stupid ways. We've got R-Type 2. We already showed R-Type earlier. We've got Radiant Silvergun, the predecessor to Ikaruga. I gave that a try. I was terrible at it. Here we go. The Hellfire and Zero Wing cab. I had played both of these games before, Zero Wing slightly more so. I am nowhere near capable of 1CCing it, that's for sure. But yeah, I sunk some time into this cab. I believe this was to the left of that. We had Dragon Saber, Zero Gunner. I don't know if I can even see what this is over here. Aero Fighters. Oh, yeah, Aero Fighters and... Let's say Aero... I don't know what the heck the one next to it says. I can't read it from here. I didn't try any of these out, if I recall correctly. Truxton and Truxton 2. I am pretty sure I've seen Zachy play Truxton, so I give that a try. I was pretty bad at it. Oh, interesting. Yeah, I got a shot of the Smash TV cab. I didn't spend any time on it. I don't know if I noticed Marble Madness. Like, I vaguely remember seeing it on the list of games on the website. But yeah, the Day Pass is absolutely, like... And, like, I love it for being just a cover charge, because, like, I get, like, paying per game, I just go nuts because I'm, like... I get driven mad because, like, I don't know what I'm going to be good at and what's a good use of my money. So, like, being able to just try everything is great. It's in the transition to the back room. I wonder if I had it in a couple of my shots then, actually. So, let's see. We've got Twin Eagle. We've got 1942, 1943. This is another shot of... We saw the Daimahu cab earlier, so this is another shot of that from a different angle. X Multiply. This was in the Shmup Book Club. I was really surprised to see this cab there. I was not expecting this. I am super out of practice of that game, and I mean, even when I had practiced it, I wasn't super good at it. I'd only gotten stage 4 because large moving objects are hard. I only got to, like, stage 2 in my attempt here. But I know later on in the evening, after Cypherin got there and after we had met Galen Firestone officially at the where we went for dinner, I came back here and made sure to show Galen this game, because it's very different. It's not what you'd expect. I mean, well, it's not as bad playing without auto-fire once you get a laser. But yeah, with the other weapons, yeah, kind of. Here's Guange, which I gave a shot to, and I want to spend more time with this game. I'm never going to be competent at scoring in it, but it's just an interesting game with interesting mechanics to me, so I kind of want to try it more. You can also see Gondomania in the reflection here. I didn't even take note of that one. Search and Rescue. This is a game that Zachy tried to emulate once, but, like, good luck emulating the controls, because this is one of those games that has, like, a radial controls type thing. Like, this is both a joystick and a rotation control at the same time, and it takes time to get used to. To get used to, like, rotating yourself and also moving. So I gave that one a try, but I was terrible at it. I'm pretty sure I've seen Aquas play Guange at some point, and I didn't know what it was at the time that I saw him play it, but, like, I felt like I recognized it. We've got Time Soldiers next to it, Astro Fighter, and can't quite see what that says next to it. Something Blaster. I don't know if that's also Astro. Might be. I didn't try those. I didn't pay attention to those at all. Cobra Command. Okay, so this is what was to the right of the Escaluda cab. So we've got Scramble. Does this also say Cobra? It looks like it does. And then Cobra Command. Macross Mazinger, Battle Garrick. We had a Butt Greg sighting, so I had to take a picture of the Butt Greg sighting. And what's over here? I think this is the Darius Gaiden and G Darius combined cab. So yeah, I have a proper shot of that. I mentioned this during the Shmup Book Club segment earlier tonight. I tried Darius Gaiden. Darius Gaiden is impossible without autofire. And this is the version without autofire. This is not extra version. Oh yeah, I didn't... How do you even pronounce that? Is it literally Zexx? Yeah, CHX, I was pointing out that they have the scores on top. You can see them for G Darius, actually. I didn't give G Darius a try. I should have, but I would probably be terrible at it because I'm generally terrible at 3D shmups. But yeah, Darius Garden I gave a shot. I did not get past the boss of Zone B because it just would not die without auto-fire. Shoutouts to Zaki the Shimmering Kirin because he has apparently done a 1cc at one point without auto-fire, and he fully does not recommend doing so. Here's another shot of the Dio Cab. Was this when I actually played it? Yeah, this is when I actually played it. I can't quite make out the score there. I think that's a... Is that 550 something K? Might be 5... I don't know if that's a 5 or a 3 or what. No, because... Did I make it to stage 3 on this sucker? That doesn't seem right. I don't believe that. I have no recollection of that. What was the score that I just freaking got now? I did take a picture of it, didn't I? Oh, it's probably still on the desktop. Maybe I did make it to round 3 in the arcade, but I don't know. Yeah, it looks like that to me. I can't believe I got that far, because I don't have any recollection of it now. But there you go. Oh, thanks to the follow, CHX. Did you, like, spot me from, like, an auto-host, or from Discord, or what? Or Twitter. I don't know if you're following me there, but oh, yeah, you might be. It's like, I feel like I've seen that somewhere, but I don't know. Oh, it was Discord, okay. But yeah, I started taking screenshots of the things that I gave a try to. Truxton has a very fascinating concept of areas, because apparently I got to area 23 and got 67k points. I need to scroll back. Where was the other shot of Truxton? I don't know if I got a shot of... Oh yeah, you can see at least the second and third score. Also, Jamie Tibbetts' name was on a bunch of cabs. I feel like I remember seeing that name. But yeah, so multiply my score by like 6, and I almost have a 3rd place score. Okay. Let's fast forward again. They do have Darius and Darius 2 setups. The screens are not totally perfectly aligned. That was a little distracting. Also, I reported this to them. The Darius cab had some weird audio issue going on where, like, it was as if they were sending audio to 2 sets of speakers or something, and one set was getting the audio later than the other. So, like, the music was totally out of phase with itself, and it was kind of disorienting. Yeah, I mean, geez, if you're in the area, then you totally should. Like, I absolutely would spend time on some of these machines if I lived in the area. There's a Half-Life arcade game, apparently. I didn't know that. Also, I guess I might as well plug myself for a split second. At some point in February, possibly not February 1st, because I'm still, like, tentative on how my internet is behaving. Since this is the first night it's behaved since I got back. But I'm glad people could come out for the recap. Thanks for hanging out for it. But I will be starting Half-Life as part of my 2020 hindsight endeavor, where I'm going to basically play through and complete a bunch of games that, for the most part, I started playing but never completed, or in some cases never picked up at all. And that includes the entire Half-Life franchise. That includes the Metroid Prime franchise, because I've played and completed 1, but I never finished 2 or 3. I threw Star Fox on there. I threw the Guardian Legend on there, which I've never played, but I've been interested in playing. Crystallis, technically, I could have thrown on there, but I ended up playing that at the end of last year, and that's when I came up with this idea. Yeah, OG Star Fox. Because I've played Star Fox 64. I'm not super good in terms of, like, you know, meddling everything in my sleep the way that Zallard does, but, like, I've played Star Fox 64. I've dabbled Star Fox Assault at some point. I tried Star Fox Zero at Nintendo New York and decided I had no interest in a Wii U or that game. Because it's, like, impossible. It, like, requires you to watch both screens at once, and no, I can't do that. I don't have 4 eyes. But yeah, so apparently there's this Half-Life arcade game. I didn't try it. Darius Burst, another Chronicle EX. I need to spend some time with Darius Burst Chronicle Saviors. I bought that like 2 years ago, and I have not spent much time with it at all. I kind of wanted to rope Cypherin into playing this, and maybe also Galen, but we didn't get back to this. But yeah, DBCS is really neat, and like DBCS on PC has proper 2-monitor support. What is it? I mean, I still feel like I need to get some familiarity with it first, but I know that like Chronicle Saviors has like a whole like extra mode and everything that just like gives you a ton of throws a bunch of like arrangements at you and stuff. Okay, so I was talking before about there would be more of the number 2, and there would also be arcade cabinets that technically didn't exist. Primal Rage 2 is one of those arcade cabinets. So they've got Primal Rage, and they've got Primal Rage 2, and they've got scores for it. It's got Infinite Lives mode, and we'll use that extensively. There's also apparently a Left 4 Dead arcade game made in Japan. Like, okay. Sega Sonic the Hedgehog, didn't touch that. Kinda looks inspired by 3D Blast. I don't know what Deathstalker is. Also, what's over here? Oh, is this is actually within peripheral vision of the front desk. So you have, like, arcade rules there. Oh, yeah, I mentioned that I thought there was an Elevator Action 2 cab. I wasn't wrong. There's an Elevator Action 2 cab right next to the Simpsons arcade. And what is this next to it? War Final Assault. Not familiar with that. Also, there's a Monkey Ball thing. There will be another shot of that, I am pretty sure, so we'll get back to that. We got Fantasy Zone, which I'm sure I've seen before. We've got King of Fighters. International Team Laser, I have no idea what that is. It's got 4, like, gun attachments, though. Okay, this was when I switched the... When I came back and knew how to switch the game to Metal Black, I came back and did that. What did I get on this? 129, 170 on round 2. Yeah, so I did make it past round 1. But I'm sure that's not a score worth phoning home about at all. What are the scores on this? Actually, that's like... Wait, what? Huh? How is the 3rd place score on this only 215k? What the fuck? I could get a 3rd place score on this thing if I spent, like, any time at all practicing it at that rate. You can't be serious. It's like nobody's bothered trying. I don't know, there's gotta be more to it than that, like it gets impossible on stage 3 or something. Oh, yeah, maybe that's it. Maybe this just hasn't been updated in forever, because all of these dates are 2013. That seems dubious. Okay, also in the realm of arcade games that were never released, Chimera Beast by Jalico. This was, so one of the things that Galen Firestone talked about when we were at dinner was, like, he specifically wanted to try the things that were, like, super rare, including the unreleased arcade games. So he had checked out Primal Rage 2, and I was like, you know, I'm pretty sure I saw Chimera Beast, and I'm pretty sure that was never released either. And he's like, oh, really? Well, I'll have to go check that out then. So he gave this a try. He didn't last long into stage 2, mostly because we were late in remembering the eating mechanic, and that is, like, super overpowered compared to anything else, I think. Of course, Zaki could probably school me much more on this game, because I know I've seen Zaki play through this. I did attempt a score on this. Actually, this might be my score. This 480-500 might be it. Because I got a little further into stage 2, but I still died in stage 2. I think a very nasty mid-boss might have been involved. Had to take a picture of the Ninja Warriors, because I've seen Zaki play that too. The stage 1 music of that is just, like, super memorable, and it also goes on forever. It's like a 4-minute long music loop or something. It also gets, like, aggravatingly repetitive at one point. Oh, and Rastan and Nastar Warrior, also things that Zaki would have experience with. I did not spend time on these because, like, I know Rastan looks like super clunky and I would probably have a terrible time, and it requires memorization to be able to clear it. We've got Contra games, we've got Contra, we've got Super Contra, we've got Contra Evolution. I thought it was Revolution, but it's just Evolution. And I think that one was off. I did not spend time on the Contra games because I don't expect to be good at them. We also had Jackal. I know there's some I know there's some people who speedrun NES Jackal, so I figured I'd take a shot at that. Gauntlet and Gauntlet 2, because you've always got fans of that. I imagine it would be very, very difficult, read impossible, to have 4 players on both of these cabs at once. This setup is not ergonomic towards that. You missed that? Yeah. That's the thing, is like, the first time I walked around, there was stuff I completely missed. Qbert, which I very rightfully didn't spend any time on. Arkanoid 2 Revenge of... I'm pretty sure that says Dope. Klax. I remember playing Klax on DOS at some point. Bubble Bobble. Not sure if I can see there's like original Tetris over there. I should have spent time on Arkanoid, but I didn't. Mario Kart. Star Wars Trilogy Arcade, which is different from the Star Wars Racer thing I took a picture of earlier. We had some RC Squared. Didn't try that. Looked kind of neat, though. I already had a picture of the Metal Slug 6 before, but you got some other stuff visible in the periphery here. It is the 90s, there's time for Klax. Alright, Mushihime-sama, I put in... There was an attempt. Not a good attempt. But there it is, for what it's worth. Alright, so at this point I had met up with Cypherin. He got there later than he anticipated. I have no idea what time this was taken at, and Twitter's timestamps are usually not trustworthy. Yeah, that says 4:31. It was probably 6:31. A lot of times Twitter uses West Coast timestamps for some reason. Yeah, so Ghouls and Ghosts was the first thing he hit up. Oh, here we go. I mentioned the Monkey Ball cab before. The real punchline of the Monkey Ball cab is the banana joystick. I didn't try this, though, because I don't expect to be good at it. Pro Gear is... it's got Cave and Capcom's names on it. This one looked pretty interesting, but I found it to be kind of visually inaccessible. I would have to spend some time getting used to it. The funniest thing, though, was when I was playing Pro Gear, I heard sound effects behind me that I swore sounded like Trio the Punch, but, like... They didn't have Trio the Punch on their games list, so I was like, what the heck was I hearing? I was hearing Sly Spy. It's another Data East game, like Trio the Punch, so naturally they reused sound effects. Let's see, what do we got here? Alien vs. Predator. What? Cadillac's Dinosaurs, no frickin' idea. Ninja Baseball Batman, that one's pretty infamous. We've got Buddy Wolf over here. But yeah, Alien vs. Predator. That one's pretty well known. Okay, this is a shot of sort of the Neo Geo alley. Including... I'm pretty sure this machine is the one that had Twinkle Star sprites on it. But we'll get some better shots of that later. I don't know how I totally missed Twinkle Star Sprites over here the first time I went through this row. I probably just, like, took a quick glance, but, like, it was always on. Alright, here's Cypherin taking a whack at Shadow Dancer. There's some trolly things about Shadow Dancer Arcade. Like, if you are within melee distance of an enemy, if you are crouching, you will no longer be crouching. Because melee takes you out of crouch, and you automatically melee if you're within melee distance of an enemy. He died multiple times to that. It's kind of rude. Alright, break time. Because this is when we went to get dinner. There is a place called Fine Thai that is like 1 block east of the place. Cypherin had not been to it. It was pretty great. So we got Thai iced tea because anytime Thai iced tea is on the menu, you've got to give it a shot. We got some shumai to start with. I got sweet and sour chicken, which was really good. Cypherin got pad thai, but also got pineapple chicken. Pineapple grilled chicken, I think is what it was called. And he finished both of those things faster than I finished this one thing. Like, I used to be fast at eating. I am very slow at eating now. Although, I mean, like, if I'm talking to people, then obviously I'm going to be slow. And we also had Galen join us at that point. Galen was, I think he came in after us, and he sat down, like, 3 tables down from us. But then we were talking about GDQ and stuff, and he just kept overhearing that. He's like, have I seen you guys at a GDQ before? Because I don't think he was at AGDQ 2020, but he was at a couple of GDQs in the past. I forget exactly which ones. I feel like he wasn't at both events both years, but I feel like he was at, like, both SGDQs the past 2 years or something. He might have been in an AGDQ in the middle. But yeah, so, like, we ended up talking about the GDQs and also the concert, because that's also what he was here for, and that's when we found out that he's an audio engineer and has been super into the Nier series for, you know, basically a decade, and was, like, super hyped going into the concert. And that was when I told him that, hey, there's this other unreleased game, since you're interested in super rare and unreleased arcade games. So this is Galen trying Chimera Beast. I'm pretty sure I tweeted a couple images of what he was trying. So yeah, there's Chimera Beast, and there's Zero Wing, because you gotta try the meme. Oh wait, so yeah, hang on. Then that other picture I took, I'm not gonna scroll all the way back. That other picture I took couldn't have been when I played it, because I played it after coming back from dinner with them. I'm gonna assume... Okay, that might have been my score? Yeah, okay. Then that's only 200k. I'm pretty sure the other score that I saw on the machine before that was higher than that. What are the high scores on this? Holy crap. That's quite a spread. You got 92 million, you got 29 million, you got 5. And also, that's the same name again. Jamie has clearly spent a lot of time in this arcade. So yeah, we spent time on Chimera Beast. Mission Craft. I passed by this multiple times because I think it was in the shmup section, which, I mean, it is a shmup. This is fascinating. It's based on StarCraft. It's got the full-blown StarCraft UI. All of the enemies and stuff have StarCraft-style life bars under them. But, like, and so, like, they all use the graphics of it. You can choose what race you want to play as. It doesn't affect the stages, though. So, like, the first stage is Terran. Even if you pick Terran, you're killing other Terrans. Like, really? Shouldn't you guys be, you know, cooperating? Yeah, you can see that this was right across from R-Type 2 and Radiant Silvergun, which I took a picture of earlier. Yeah, like, it's so funny because, like, once you get to the shmup aspects, it's like, okay, this is nothing like StarCraft, but, like, it's cool what they did with the graphics, I guess. I didn't put too much effort into that one, but I did try it. So yeah, here's Galen playing Zero Wing. Did I actually get a score on here? Yeah, I didn't even beat all the default scores, so that's how little effort I put into it. Also, gee, the person under me put a really tasteless name. Okay. Because that was an actual score that somebody put in. Yeah, Ninja Gaiden. I forgot what type of arcade game this was. Ninja Gaiden is like the clunkiest damn beat 'em up I've ever seen. Not that I'm good at beat 'em ups in general, but like you just get punished immediately in that game. I didn't make it like 2 screens in. It was ridiculous. Galen actually took a picture of me playing that, and I was like, please don't. This is terrible. Okay, B-Storm. What score did I get on it? So when I actually attempted a high score on, like when I tried for real on B-Storm, the screen glitched out partway through me playing it, and apparently resetting the cab was enough, like switching back and forth between games was enough to fix it. That's a 30 million, which I'm pretty sure I've done way better than in the Shmup Book Club. And yeah, I was totally forgetting about the energy mechanic and everything. We've got Ikari Warriors here, as well as Heavy Barrel. There'll be another shot of this because there's also something relevant next to it. Arabian Fight. This was a beat 'em up that Cypherin just decided to like credit feed all the way through. It's definitely pretty interesting. It's got really neat like animations. It's also anime as heck. Another picture of the Ninja Spirit Cab. I think I just didn't remember if I had taken a picture of that before. This I just decided to like take a picture of an entire row of cabs. I don't think I spent time on any of them in this row, but this was like out in the area with the more open area with tons of rows of just like retro stuff and whatnot. So we've got War of Gods, we've got Reactor, I guess. I can't even read that. That's like Juno First. I don't know what that game is. Argus. Can't read the beginning of that one. No, I got nothing. In addition to Gauntlet and Gauntlet 2, we had Gauntlet Dark Legacy. We had Double Dragon 2, Bad Dudes vs. Dragon Ninja. There's another shot of that down there. Robocop next to that. This is another one that I've seen Zaki play. I didn't spend time on it because I know this game gets super brutal in its boss fights. My SBC B-Storm score was 94. Okay, wow. I didn't remember I got that high, but yeah, I thought I got to stage 4 at least once. Alien 3, The Gun, because it has the gun. Biohazard, Code Veronica, Gun Survivor 2, okay. Karn Evil. Dragon's Lair and Dragon's Lair 2. Why did they make a second one of these? I don't think anybody asked for that. Ninja Base. This is the other side of Ninja Baseball Batman, so we've got Crime City next to it, and, Empire Savior? Didn't check that one out. Oh no, I believe you. I just totally blanked on what score I eventually got in that. Off-Road, which I didn't... I noticed this super late. I had this on NES, I think. Battlezone. Red Baron. I think that's Lunar something or other, I can't remember. So just way more... This is just way more of the rows and rows of stuff that's, like, immediately, like, to your right after you walk in. APB, Paperboy, Pole Position. Pole Position I did spend a little bit of time on. And it was clear that nobody else had spent much time on it that day. But I figured I should put some time in on one of the, like, steering wheel and gas pedal cabs, so I did. Both of these scores are actually mine. I think I failed to take a shot after the 15K one, but I mean, they're both within 50 points of each other. What were the high scores on this? Yeah, I mean, like, I didn't pass a single qualifier, so... I assume there's more to it than a single loop. But it definitely seems like a game that should be... Like, if you spent any time on it at all, it should be easy to, like, get down. I don't know how brutal it gets later on, though. Donkey Kong Jr. I don't really do Donkey Kong games, but obviously always notable. Donkey Kong 3, Mario Brothers, Popeye. Stargate, Joust, Joust 2. Had to take a picture of the Joust games because I think McFly was playing one of these once on his stream a couple times. Here's the other side of Robotron. So we've got Make Tracks, we've got Sinistar, we've got... Does that just say Bubble? Space Duel in the back. Can't tell what else is over there. I had already taken a picture of this earlier. I think I actually did come back and try Gun Frontier. So... I can't find a score on here. I was pretty bad at it, though. Oh, there's the score. Yeah, again, couldn't even clear the default top 5. Let's see if we can see the numbers up here. Yeah, those are at least 6-digit numbers, so I know I did bad. Yeah, so next to Ikari Warriors is Victory Road, which, from what I'm told, is related to Ikari Warriors. Okay, I was instructed to take a picture of this. Which cab is this? I don't remember what freaking cab this was. But it was, like, right next to Victory Road. But the reason I was instructed to take a picture of it is because it features Goro being walked. Like, that Goro is on a leash. So it's just super goofy. It's another... Oh, it's the Judge Dredd cab. That's what it was. Yeah, this game was terrible. But, I mean, what do you expect? Given that it was, like... Yeah, it was another Midway thing back during that era of, you know, full captured animation and stuff, but also terrible gameplay. Yeah, so I got a few pictures here of us at the Twinkle Star Sprites cab, and yeah, this is the cab that I thought it was. You just couldn't see it on screen at the time that I took the picture earlier in the day. So this is back in Neo Geo Alley. But Cypherin and I did some mashups on Twinkle Star Sprites. I put up some decent fights. We had one match that went really long and death kept going back and forth. But Cypherin pretty much pulled out all the matches overall. I forget what Cypherin ended up playing a bunch over there with Galen spectating. Meanwhile, while he was playing that, I found Blazing Star over here. So, I guess I got us... Oh, right, yeah. So I was saying during Shmup Book Club before, I got exactly as far as that one purple beam attack by the second boss that redirects a couple of times, and it was hilarious, because right as I game overed, Galen had just started looking at my screen. Like, he came over from what Cypherin was doing, and looked at this, and so, like, he was just in time to see the completely rude as hell purple beam attack. And so, like, I made some comment, I was like, well, that was freaking rude, and he's like, yes, it very was. So that was pretty hilarious. But yeah, so that one definitely caught my interest as just being a really cool looking game that has like really clear visual callouts, because like it beats you over the head with like I'm sure some people would probably complain about it. Like it beats you over the head with like, there's a power up on screen, you should get it. There's a letter on screen, you should get that. There's a gold pickup on screen, you should get that. But according to Nifty, actually you shouldn't get that because it'll be worth more later. So apparently you shouldn't listen to everything it tells you. Okay, this thing was goofy as hell. There was this Castlevania, not a light gun game, more of a light whip game. This is like the pinnacle of waggle controls in arcade form. I was playing it along with Galen, and I don't know, I was having some issues with just like figuring out the controls and getting comfortable with them, because like the waggle felt super weird. So I think at this point I had already like ducked out. It looked really cool, but it was also rude as hell, because like there's enemies that like you just turn around and wham, you get hit. You have to like memorize exactly when to be ready to whip. Also, it's interesting because the two characters that you play as have different mechanics. One of them has a gun and uses ammunition, while the other uses hearts and has sub-weapons like classic Castlevania. What else we got? Alien Syndrome, Alien Storm, and Michael Jackson Moonwalker on the same cab. Not sure if that's like a scathing commentary or something. Golden Axe next to that. I've seen Zaki play Alien Syndrome. I don't think I had time to try it. This was when I came back and tried Hellfire, so I think I actually put a score up on this. Yeah, so what is that, 33,750? What are actual scores on this? Almost 500k. Yeah, Hellfire has an interesting gimmick, but it's super irritating to get used to. Because you basically... It's a 2-button game, but the second button cycles you through like 5 different firing modes, and it like changes what angles your ship fires at. So like, you have to get super used to how many times you have to hit the button to get to where you want. And you have to kind of like learn how to choreograph the whole thing. And it also has the Gradius effect of when you die, you get powered down, and it's a terrible time. So that was that. This was Airbuster, which I also tried. Airbuster had a very Gradius-like experience further in, where like it goes really fast and you have to like make decisions. Actually, it's sort of a mix between the Gradius, the parts of Gradius where it goes really fast and there's tons of like splitting paths, but also that part of that one stage in Mega Man 8 where it's always like jump, jump, slide, slide, because it gives you like cues beforehand to know generally what you have to do. And I think I died in the second. I think I game overed in the second of those areas. The first one is pretty tame, but this game looked pretty neat. I would give this one another try. But again, I had a hard time finding the arcade version, so I might give it a try on Genesis and see how different it is. But that's clearly 121840. I don't have those. I might have those scores within view on the other earlier shot I took of this cab. Escaluda came back and played that. This was my score, 3534170. This beats, I think, 3 people on the Shmup Book Club leaderboards. This was the only time I ever made it to Stage 3 in Escaluda. The entire month that we played this game, I did not get this far. So, I actually had something good happen, like, I actually made good of something in the arcade. Because, like, I'm always, like, thinking that, like, with the arcade controls and stuff, I'm always going to do worse. I need to figure out a way to make my arcade stick work for me for shmups, because the joystick in my arcade stick has always been too bouncy. Maybe I just need a heavier spring in it. I know Boogaloo has shown me his arcade sticks, and his are definitely less springy than mine is. But like, using my arcade stick, I have a Konba Q4 RAF. Using that for shmups is just a huge liability, because the stick is just super bouncy. So, I need to look into getting a heavier spring for it. But yeah, so we had a good time in Escaluda there. Cypherin went over and played Mockbreaker, which he was pretty sure this was something that he had played with Aquas at GDQ. I'm pretty sure what Aquas had was slightly different because it was a Saturn game. And I don't think this exists on Saturn. And I think Aquas actually, like, commented when I tweeted about this. Let me see if I can find that. And here's my tweet about I did at least one good to make up for missing Shmup Book Club, because, like, this happened last Thursday. That is Shmup Book Club Day, so I was doing my part in playing some shmups, and I even, managed to make good on a shmup that we had played in the Shmup Book Club. Oh, I shouldn't have done that. I forgot to middle click. Not quite Decathlete, but... Oh, no, he's probably just, like, commenting on how well he did. That's probably what he meant. Okay. I probably misread that the first time. Yeah, we're getting close to the end of this night, and I will probably take a quick break afterwards. But I did say we were going to return to the Spider-Man game, because Cypherin had to play that somewhat. I didn't touch Haunted Castle. I know it's infamous... Well, I know that there's, like, one version of it, or one setting on it that's, like, infamously difficult. I don't know if this was on that setting. I did try versus Castlevania briefly. I'm not well versed in the NES version at all. Shoutouts to Sin Streams, who has been speedrunning that. I know he's down to, like, close to a 14 flat, if not lower. If he got lower than that, then I missed it. But also, I think he has moved on to learning to speedrun Trojan now. So, Sin_streams has been on a NES kick lately, ever since coming back from GDQ running ActRaiser there with McFly. Okay, yeah. So we returned to Gamshara because Cypherin made it a point to point this out to me, because it's one of those, like, cover-based third-person shooters. So he was playing that a little bit. This is just I decided to take a random shot of, like, Shmup Alley. Now, Shmup Alley isn't just this one row. There's another row, behind this that still had more shmups. Like, Ikaruga and Death Smiles were in the next aisle over to the right from where this shot was taken. But, like, this is where Mushihime-sama and Espegaluda were further down in this aisle. And, like, this is woefully out of focus. It's focusing, like, right here, which is not very helpful. But this is the Hellfire Zero Wing cab right there. So, to give you a sense of where everything was, you got Truxton, you've got Hellfire Zero Wing. I think the Darius stuff might have also been in the next aisle over. Radiant Silvergun was right here. So, yeah. Oh, I did get a shot of these scores. Right, okay. So the Espegaluda scores 2nd and 3rd in the area are supposedly only 20 mil, so, like, if I sunk some time into that, maybe I could compete with that. I don't know. Probably not. I'd probably be terrible at it. It would take a lot of work, for sure. Cypherin came back and played some Shinobi. Okay. That is the end of the arcade pictures. I'm going to take a quick break, and we'll come back and cover the rest of this when I get back. Thanks everybody for hanging out. Hope you continue to hang out, but if y'all need a break to hit the restroom or whatever, like I do, then go right ahead and we will continue in, like, I don't know, 3 to 5 minutes. 33 is definitely not, yeah. I don't know how many of these have not been updated in a while. Like, they're probably just not paying super close attention. Maybe they only update these when somebody in the actual place gives them a reason to? I don't know. Because, like, that other one was, like, 2013 stuff. There were upper 40s in the SBC Quarterly. Oh, well. Yeah, I don't know, then. Because, like, the world record is supposed to not be limited to this store. Or this arcade. But I don't know. That does seem super weird. Alright. I accidentally hit right too many times. We're going to pause here. We'll be back in a couple minutes, and we'll go through the rest of the trip, because this trip, believe it or not, was not originally even about the arcade, but Cypherin said, yo, if you're going to come to Chicago for the Nier concert, you got to go to the Galloping Ghost. And, big kudos to Cypherin, because this became the highlight of the trip. Alright, yeah, that's fair. I mean, if I knew better, I would roll out too, but we got more recapping to do, so I will do that in a couple minutes. So, we will continue. Have a good night, EI. And we will go through, the rest of this will take less time than the arcade did, because again, the arcade became the highlight of this whole thing. But yeah, we'll continue in a couple minutes. Stay tuned. Alright, I'm presumably way late saying it, but, well, I said it before, but I'll say it again. Good night, EI. Thanks for hanging out. And providing commentary on the whole Galloping Ghost visit. So yeah, again, I spent from roughly 3:15 to roughly 12:30 in the Galloping Ghost area. Obviously, we spent, probably an hour out at dinner, but, certainly made a day of it. Certainly was glad I went. Paid more for the rides there and back again, because it was like probably half an hour from where I was staying. There's not really much in the way of hotels in the area that the Galloping Ghost is in. That's like the one downside. There's a couple of like inns or motels, and I'm not sure, and actually I think one of them was closed down permanently now too. So like, I don't think I would really put much stock in that. Like, even if I were to go back to the area again, to go here again, I might be inclined to stay in Rosemont, because, like, I was looking at reviews in hotels in other areas that were at least slightly closer, and there were some yikes reviews in them, so, like, even a Doubletree Hilton, closer by, like, 12 minutes away or something, there was, like, at least one report of bed bugs, and I'm like, ugh. you look at the reviews of the place that I stayed at, I don't see any of that, so... It's like, you know, there's always bound to be a bad review, but... there really wasn't for the place that I stayed at. Other than, like, the only comment I saw was the one that I made myself, too, which is, the walls are very thin. But yeah, the DoubleTree by Hilton near the Rosemont Theater is really pretty decent. They're connected, so I didn't try the Gibson Steakhouse at all, actually, which is connected to that hotel, but they also have, like, an in-hotel, smaller restaurant, which I had breakfast at on the last day, which I didn't think was too bad. Like, actually, they had oatmeal there, even in the continental breakfast, which I didn't expect, but was glad they had. And this picture is actually also from that in-hotel restaurant. I think it's like the BC Bistro or something. Hey, Cypherin, if you're just getting here, then you missed the entire arcade recap. We're moving into the rest of the recap now. But yeah, I just went through all the arcade pictures. It took a while. Shoutouts to Cypherin. Yes, he and the guy in this image might be related. They might be the same person. Citation needed. But yeah, so Friday, early afternoon. So, funny story, Friday, I actually mentioned this during the Shmup Book Club part of the stream earlier. I ended up kind of pulling an hour of work on Friday because I got messaged by my manager. Oh, gee, thanks for the host, dude. I got messaged by my manager Friday morning, and it turned out that basically he just wasn't up to speed with stuff I had already arranged and, like, fully documented, because, like, we were gonna roll out a feature to internal staff on Friday, and, like, in our private channel on our Slack server, like, I had totally, like, asked someone if they could take over the ticket, and someone volunteered, and I gave them the ticket and put, like, super elaborate instructions in there. But my manager didn't see any of that, apparently. So he was asking me, like, what's the deal? And I'm like, there is a ticket with these instructions in it. I gave it to so-and-so. So he checked with them, and then, you know, realized that it was in good hands. But, since I got onto Slack anyway, I decided to look at the notifications from our bot that's, like, integrated with GitHub and stuff. And somebody from sort of our sister team had merged a pull request that already turned on the thing we were planning to launch that day, but it turned it on more widely than it should have. So I ended up, I wouldn't say putting out a fire, it was an internal launch anyway, but I ended up kind of preventing something from looking really bad and confusing the heck out of everybody. So I was kind of glad I was there for that. My manager was, like, super relieved that I happened to catch that. So Friday I had 0 commitments until that evening anyway, so, like, it was at a time of my vacation that it was, like, totally okay, and I was glad I could do what I was able to do there. So that was before I went down for lunch. Went down for lunch at, like, probably almost 1. Got this Reuben sandwich, which was messy as heck, but it was okay. I was aiming for something that wouldn't be, like, super heavy. This was still probably heavier than I wanted, but it all turned out alright. The reason that I was trying to strategize against something super heavy is because we went to Fogo de Chao, which I actually didn't take any pictures at, now that I think about it. But Cypherin put in a reservation, and because we had just randomly met Galen Firestone the previous day at the arcade, I ended up bringing it up at Fine Thai, which probably made for a slightly awkward situation, but, like, Cypherin being the ridiculously nicest guy in the world that Cypherin is, was immediately like, yo, if you want to come with us to Fogo, we are welcome to do that. And Galen was like, you know, that was one thing I hadn't worked out, was what the heck I was doing for dinner before the concert, so that works. Yeah. Yeah, too busy. I mean, I totally could have taken the picture if I had the wherewithal, because, like, I was just chilling with Asian Waste initially. You know, we were there for a few minutes, then Galen was there for a couple minutes, and then we got our table. And then, Cypherin, you got there, you know, like, probably 20 minutes after we sat. Something like that. This is a hilarious picture that I took, because I don't know how easy this... You can't quite read this. This sign says ice and vending. Here's the ice. Where's the vending? There is no vending. It's invisible vending. Like, there's totally space for a vending machine here, but it ain't frickin' there. So, like, I mean, I avoid using vending machines in hotels anyway, or just in general. So, like, no complaints here, but, like, if there's one thing for me to... one thing besides the thin walls in the hotel for me to nitpick, it would be that the vending machine was a lie. Snapped this photo before getting on the elevator, so this was at the hotel, just to kind of show that it was a super foggy, dreary-looking day. I think there was a little bit of snow going on Friday as well. Other than being out in the weather a little bit on Thursday when I was walking to the Italian place that I had lunch then, I didn't really, you know, I didn't really face the snow that much, and when I did, it was not, like, super heavy. Another picture of that. Okay, so now we are into the concert. I'm gonna, like, cycle around the music a little bit and throw it back at the beginning. We didn't start at the beginning of the soundtrack. I haven't been here that long doing this recap. I started kind of smack in the middle. I took some very hasty pictures. These are going to be super out of focus. I will apologize in advance. But I just snapped some really hasty pictures because, like, naturally, there were a bunch of people there in either semi or full cosplay. You know, tons of people with, you know, either 2B or 9S or maybe even Atom wigs. Like, what's that long one? Like, the long white hair? I don't know what that's supposed to be, other than, like, it could be Atom. I didn't catch them from the front, though. But this is where we were sitting. If I go back to Twitter right now... Oh, I tweeted about the Thai place afterwards. I was very confused there. But yeah, this was the shot I took when we got to our seats. And Asian Waste's seat was in the row right in front of us. There was actually... I specifically picked seats that were like... that there was a gap in between, that there was an aisle in between. Which might have helped Cypherin, actually, because it kind of gave you an opportunity to, like, stretch your legs in various different ways. You see the video wall on the right. CHX's hangout area is directly behind that. Oh, okay. The one thing, I had no way of knowing this in advance, the one thing that sucked about these seats, guess what's right around here that I can't see? The one thing that's right around here that I can't see is the frickin' piano. The one thing that I would want to see because I play piano. I picked the one side of the place that couldn't see it. So that was the one real downer in terms of our seating location. Other than that, the dude on the right of me was also taking up a lot of space, and, like, I had to kind of, like, compete for my legroom that I rightfully owned because it was directly in front of my seat. So I was a little uncomfortable for some parts of it, but I was more or less able to focus. It gave me some flashbacks to riding the Long Island Railroad, because the Long Island Railroad seats are engineered for people that don't have arms. I had arm room, the leg room was a little bit contentious. Cypherin was a very good sport about leg room. He was like, I could tell he was like trying to make sure I wasn't like overcrowded. And I'm pretty sure Cypherin is a way taller guy than the other dude who was sitting on the other side of me, who also reeked of cigarette smoke, mind you, so like I was dealing with that for half the concert. Yeah. So my seat had its downsides, which were completely outside my control, but I still managed to, you know, get something out of the concert. Couple more pictures I took before. I realized when I posted this, oh, that text is completely illegible because it's glowing. So I took a couple of other more zoomed in shots. Obviously, these are not like these are digital zooms, so they're not going to be super high fidelity, but you can at least read the freaking text now. Nier Orchestra Concert RE12018, and you got like some of the orchestra out practicing. Okay, so I did not take pictures during the concert because we were supposed to have our cell phones off during the concert. Dude to the right of me did not have a cell phone off, but it did not, like, make noise or anything. He just had this, like, his screen turned on for, like, 5 seconds at a time at random points. So it wasn't too bad. He was pretty good about it. I'm not gonna rag on him too much for that. So, no mid-concert, pictures, but at the end of the concert, you know, this is good, because if anybody who went to any of the US concerts at this point sees this, it won't be a spoiler anymore, because the LA concert was last night. At the end, Yoko Taro and, crap, I'm gonna forget this guy's name again. Hang on, I'm gonna try to look it up. But basically, the director and producer... Oh, yeah, Yosuke Saito, one of the producers, came out, and, you know, Yoko Taro being the character he is, of course he comes out and he's like, "How are you, everybody? I can't see anything." Because he's got the freaking mask on. He always has the freaking mask on. I don't have any super clear shots of it, regrettably. But yeah, they had, like, they brought everyone out at the end, so, like, the blue dress here, that's Emmy Evans, who sang on only 2 songs. I have words about this later. My words are not as harsh as Galen Firestone's. If you want to see a rant about this, go check Galen Firestone's Twitter. And I'm not holding it against him, because given the perspective he was coming from, an audio engineer who's been super into this series and its soundtracks for a decade, I can kind of understand it. Especially if this is, like, the first and only concert he's been to for the series. Yeah, I mean, I checked Galen's Twitter before the LA concert, and he was definitely kind of, like, he was trying to, like, not psych himself out, because he was so, like, disappointed after this one, and he, like, knew what he was going into, and he was like, I gotta just enjoy it, and I gotta turn off Twitter so I don't rant again. So, right, yeah, that was the thing, is, like, he booked this one, so, like, again, this concert was only announced in Chicago, and London, and, like, Thailand, originally. They added a second Chicago date later, they added LA later. If he had known they were going to add LA, he would have just freaking waited for that, because not only is LA where he comes from, he also wouldn't have had to book through Ticketmaster, because Ticketmaster apparently kind of screwed him over on his seats. I didn't have a problem with Ticketmaster, but he apparently did. I'm pretty sure Ticketmaster is supposed to hold your seats for a few minutes. I'm pretty sure it gives you, like, a distinct counter of that. But for some reason in Galen's case, it did not do that, and he got kind of stiffed. So I'm sorry about his experience. But, okay, before we get off the Nier concert, I will talk more about, like, why Galen was disappointed. I was somewhat disappointed. I did submit a review. I rated it 3 stars. I came to a much better understanding shortly after I submitted that review of why the concert was the way it was. And that's what I'll explain. But before that, very important, these 2 people were playing catch with a mackerel outside the main doors. I'm not going to give it any more explanation than that, because if you've played enough of Nier Automata, you know what this means. And if you don't, then I'm not going to spoil it. But just, it's a mackerel. I was like, that's a fish, I don't know if that's a mackerel or not. I turned to Asian Waste, he looked it up on Google, he was like, yes, that is definitely in fact a mackerel. I was like, This is amazing. Okay, so that does it for the Nier Automata pictures. Let's go back to one of these pictures for the time being to talk about why the concert felt disappointing. Like, it was a good concert. The orchestra, I felt, mostly did a good job with what they were working with. But there's sort of that qualifier of what they were working with. Again, they had Emmy Evans on the stage. She sang 2 songs. The problem with that is they performed easily another half-dozen songs that she was involved in, she sang vocals on in the original soundtrack. So why wasn't she singing those? Now I will concede, there were still a couple of songs that I really liked, even with the absence of Emmy Evans. Specifically, I really liked what they did with Grandma, because there was like this solo oboe going on. In fact, you know what? Let's switch up soundtracks. Because the other thing that I came to understand was that the reason... There was reasoning behind this concert being the way it was, and only having... crap, where is it? I'm trying to find it here. Here it is. And only having 2 songs that had Emmy Evans on vocals. And the reason for that is... basically the entire setlist for this concert came from 2 orchestral arrangement albums that already existed for a couple of years. Possibly minus the ones that Emmy sang on. But listen to this. I'm gonna pump up the volume. So, back a couple of jobs ago, one of my project managers, who was a really awesome person, went to college for oboe. And while she says she burned herself out on it, and now she does, like, systems admin stuff for a living, she still performs as an oboist in orchestras in Nevada. So I have a lot of respect for oboe players, and the solo oboe on this was really excellent. Like, would I have loved to hear Emmy Evans come out and sing the proper part for this? Yes. But the solo oboe is like the absolute next best thing. So, like, this was one particular thing that I was totally okay with in the arrangements. I think a lot of... several people that I talked to afterwards, including one person just randomly in my hotel's lobby who clearly went to it because she was wearing the shirt, I feel like people were saying that they felt like the Nier Automata part was more polished and more well-practiced and stuff. I got more out of the Nier part. And one of the surprising things about this concert is the Nier part was slightly longer than the Nier Automata part. Again, rewind to before I realized that this setlist was entirely based on these arrangement albums. I was really confused and surprised that they spent more time on Nier than Nier Automata. And I was really hoping that they would do Copied City and, more than anything, Vague Hope. Like, you've got Emmy Evans, do Vague Hope. Oh my god, it is like one of the most emotionally charged tracks on the Nier Automata soundtrack. And they didn't do that. So, like, that was the thing that disappointed me the most. I also really would have loved to hear them do Cold Steel Coffin from Nier, which is the music behind the Airy. But I figured that would have been a heck of a stretch, so, like, I wasn't surprised they didn't do that. What I was surprised that they did do was the music Wretched Automatons. The music behind the factory area in the original Nier. I did not expect them to do that. Not only did they do that, it had, like, a bunch of, like, harpsichord stuff arranged into it, which was pretty neat. Actually, I can probably load that one up on here too. I'll switch to that after this is over. But yeah, so there were a couple of definite highlights, and I feel like I was able to focus better on the Nier half of the soundtrack. I don't know whether I was just kind of like, you know, getting winded at the end. Probably also, here's the thing. For Nier Automata, they had a lot more involved video, including a lot more video cinematics from the game, which in part I had to pay attention to because I was responsible for making sure Cypherin didn't get too much in the way of spoilers. But honestly, if I had gone with my gut and just, like, told him to close his eyes during Bipolar Nightmare, I would have been pretty much spot on. But I'm not really gonna blame that for losing my focus. Like, there was just a lot of video going on, more so in the second half of the concert, and, like, I feel like that detracts from being able to focus on the music, because you have to tear yourself away from all this video that's going on. Alright, let me pull up the Wretched Automatons, and... yeah, so this is the same arrangement. Here's the harpsichord. Crap, what thought was I in the middle? Oh, right, that I got more out of the first half of the concert, the Nier part. So, like, I was honestly happy with the amount of Nier stuff I heard. I also really liked the Emil arrangement. It was very piano-focused, so naturally. The only downside being I couldn't see the piano. But yeah, so this was the arrangement of Wretched Automatons that we heard there. Which, like, I've had these albums sitting around for a while, because Boogaloo basically, like, shared all the Nier music with me that he had. But I had never really listened to these albums. I had never made time to listen to the orchestral arrangements, so... I mean, I guess in a way it was good that I, like, got to have a sort of unbiased experience going into this concert, because if I had gone into this concert having heard these already, I would have immediately been like, this is just the orchestral arrangements they released, like, 2 years ago or something. Or maybe more than that. This isn't a big deal at all. I mean, I don't know if they performed these orchestral arrangements previously or not. I'm really not sure. Obviously, that other orchestral album, what was it, The Memories of Puppets? I know Cypherin was mentioning that he watched a video of that on YouTube or something, so like that was performed at one point, and that had all the vocalists, and that was much more vocal heavy. And so like, Cypherin was also a little disappointed by this. He rated this a B-, or a 2B-. Hurt dirt. Because he came in having been spoiled, as he put it, by the Memories of Puppets concert that was much more vocal-focused. So yeah, we all had different reasons for coming out of it, like, you know, disappointed to some degree. But Galen definitely tore it apart much more than I did. Did I tweet about it? I think I tweeted very vaguely about it because I didn't want to spoil it for people who hadn't been there yet. So... let me turn that down again so that it doesn't totally drown me out. But yeah, verdict on the Nier concert. Enjoyable, but there were a few songs I wish they would have done that they didn't. Those are the ones I mentioned before. Cold Steel Coffin was probably a stretch, but like Copied City and Vague Hope. Vague Hope, I absolutely think they should have done. They should have figured out how to do an arrangement of Vague Hope. It's an absolute waste to have a concert full of Nier music and Nier Automata music and have Emmy Evans there and not do Vague Hope. The other most offensive thing, this is one thing that I absolutely agree with Galen Firestone on. They didn't have Emmy Evans... the arrangement of Ashes of Dreams from the end of Nier, the original Nier. That was a song that Emmy Evans worked with her father on lyrics for. She did not get to sing that. It was completely orchestral, and they just threw the lyrics up on the screen while it was going on. That just feels like absolutely a stab in the back. Like, why would you not have her sing that? When, like, it I would imagine that song probably means a lot to her. That being said, knowing that it was, like, arrangements that had been released on albums previously, I'm guessing it wasn't, you know, it probably wasn't taken as personally by her as, like, we would have maybe thought otherwise. If these were new arrangements, because then it would have been like, why didn't you do it with her? But yeah, I also commented here, biggest thing, because I only figured this out when I looked through Galen's tweets and saw pictures from where he sat, and I saw that the right side of the stage looked like it had the piano on it, for sure. I was suspecting it when I was sitting in my seat, so his picture pretty much confirmed it, so that's when I tweeted, biggest thing I'm bummed about is I happened to book seats where the piano is the one thing pretty much entirely out of view. And yeah, I retweeted a tweet by Galen about the Galloping Ghost. I didn't retweet his rant. He calls it a rant. Like, I'm only calling it a rant because he did too. He self-admits it's a rant. Yeah, a bunch of... Hey, DS, how you doing? A bunch of them did. So, they were mostly actually doing arrangements that were previously released on 2 orchestral arrangement albums, one for Nier, one for Nier Automata. So... a lot of those songs originally had vocals. I just played back the orchestral version of Grandma, which I really liked, but it didn't have vocals. But that one I'm gonna give a pass to because, like, it's just... I'll play it again if you missed it. That song just ended, so I might as well do it again. Once I find it again. Because they use the solo oboe in place of the vocals, and it's just so good. And I have a lot of respect for oboe players because I knew one at a previous job. And I know it is not the simplest instrument to play. But yeah, let me look through this list. I will say, okay, one thing I should actually point out that I thought was really great was, and like, again, this would have been... So I already mentioned that, like, if I had come in having heard these orchestral albums already, I don't think it's that. It's just that these arrangements already existed and this is what they were running from. I mean, who knows? Yeah, I wanted to give them benefit of the doubt too, like maybe there was a reason, but like they had to have like decided this multiple months in advance. I'm assuming they had the set list already decided, like as soon as they announced it. Crap, what was I just thinking? I completely lost my train of thought. Nope, totally lost it. Oh, right, I was talking about the beginning of the concert, because if I had come in having been familiar with these 2 albums already, I would... No, her vocals, like, this oboe line is exactly her vocals. I mean, I will... Hang on. Do I not have... I don't have the original Nier soundtrack on this list. Hang on. Like, actually, this arrangement is very faithful to the original, which is partially why I like it. Key changes, that's a good question. Let's find out. Same key. But yeah, just take a listen to this for a few seconds, just to hear what you miss out on by not having the vocals. I'm gonna let the chorus play too. Cypherin just downgraded his grade. gonna fade it out there. Yeah, like, seriously, again, like, I can't fault the oboe version because the oboe is so good in that, but, yeah. You're sacrificing Emmy Evans. I mean, I've got to at least have a, you know, just a general problem with that. But yeah, so I keep interrupting my train of thought. Going back to the thought process before of how I would have been immediately, like, I would have had a much different immediate reaction to this concert if I had come in already being familiar with the orchestral albums. That would have clicked in, even in the first song. So I'm really glad that I came in there without being familiar, because coming in there and hearing Snow and Summer first thing with a real frickin' choir, like, that is the first song that you hear in the original game, Nier. And it is pretty, like, it is a significant factor in painting the first scene that you... It's gameplay, it's not just a cutscene, but, like, it's a very powerful part of painting that initial scene that you play a part in. So, hearing that first thing, knowing that they started with they were starting from the beginning of the game, was huge. So, like, coming in blind to that was actually, like, again, I got more out of the Nier section than the Nier Automata section. And, you know, there were just multiple reasons why. The solo oboe and grandma was good, the Emil arrangement was good, they did more songs than I expected them to, they started out with Snow and Summer, so I got way more out of that than I did out of the Nier Automata section, between probably just being, I don't know, the songs I was looking out for in Nier Automata didn't end up happening. There were songs that I expected to happen that did happen. Okay, good. The video was more distracting in that. So, there were several factors. Let me bring up Snow and Summer. I don't know whether I should pull the arrangement version or the original. Let's start with the original. It's a very different type of choir, but it's still a choir. Also, it's kind of a similar chord progression to Grandma. But, alright. I am gonna... So, I think I've managed to encapsulate most of my thoughts in a random order about the concert. There were things that would have made me enjoy it a lot more. I kind of feel like sticking to a set list that really was arranged like several years ago is a little bit of a cop-out, but I don't know if it's ever been performed before, live, so I have to give him a little benefit of the doubt on that too. Yeah. Yeah, the beginning of Nier is amazing, and I would say, like, even around halfway through is, but once you start getting into, like, later route endgames, it gets pretty repetitive. And there are some things that it makes you do that are not really enjoyable. But yeah, like, it even took a minute for me to sink into me that, like, wait, they have a real choir here, right? Oh yeah, there it is. Holy crap. So, like, this song left an impression hearing it live. And I'm really glad they started out with it. Oh, one thing I didn't mention, like, complimenting my remark about I was surprised how much they did of the Nier soundtrack, I was surprised how much they skipped of the Nier Automata soundtrack. Because, like, let me go look at the Nier Automata set list from the orchestral arrangement album. Is this it? Yeah, so what do we got? We've got City Ruins, we've got Amusement Park, we've got A Beautiful Song, we've got Alien Manifestation. Alien Manifestation was a real freaking weird arrangement, honestly. Like, especially when you combined it with the, video presence, it felt like they were, like, doing an opening for a James Bond film or something. It was very weird. So let's see. Alright, so after Alien Manifestation, the Tower. We just skipped to, like, 3 routes into the game, dude. Like, I'm sorry, that's a light spoiler for Cypherin, but, like, it was like, wait a minute, you're doing the tower now? But where's the entire... Hey, where's the crime filling? Where's the entire rest of the game? And I mean, to be fair, they kind of skipped around a little bit after that. Because, like, Dependent Weakling totally takes place before the tower does. Morning, I think, does as well. The Sound of the End and Weight of the World. Well, Weight of the World, there's several versions of. So you would hear that before the tower. But yeah, it just felt very light on the Nier Automata side. But that's exactly what's in this track list from the album. So they did what was in the album. So that really explained a lot. When I got back, and I was talking to Boogaloo about it, Boogaloo went to the Saturday concert, and he was already familiar with those albums, so, like, it immediately must have clicked to him. Because when we were talking on Discord on, like, Monday or something, he was like, I'm pretty sure it was close to the set list, and then he, like, he found a screenshot of the set lists or the track list from the albums, and he was like, yeah, this is pretty much exactly what was played there, with a couple of exceptions. So, like, I think there was one addition, so, like, I think the thing is, these orchestral soundtracks didn't have any vocals, so they added 2 songs, one for each game, and they put Emmy's vocals on those, so those were entirely add-ins. Let me see if I can verify that. Yeah, so they added in... Well, no. So Emmy did vocals on Weight of the World, but they came back and did Lord of Destruction, I think, afterwards. Which there are versions in both Nier and Nier Automata of that song. Let me try to find... Wait. No, it's not Lord of Destruction. It's Dark Colossus. This was the song that they ended with after they had brought in Yoko Taro and everybody else. They did one more song, and it was this, I believe. Yeah, it was this. Which is cool. It's an exciting song to leave off with. It's not the encore I wanted. I stayed in my seat afterwards. I was like, they can't possibly be seriously done. They haven't done Copied City, they haven't done Vague Hope. They need to do one of those 2 things before I am convinced they are done. But, nope, they were done. They did bait me because they did a little, like, announcement thing afterwards, and Emil, like, cut in to say something, and then the big fourth wall breaking joke was that he was told by some higher-ups at SQEX to say it. But yeah, so they did this extra on the Automata soundtrack, and they did Kaine Escape on Nier, and that's what they brought in... That's what they brought in Emmy for, and I actually missed the very beginning of it. It was hilarious. I went to the bathroom at the end of Ashes of Dreams. Because I was like, if they're not going to have Emmy be a part in this, I guess I might as well go now and skip intermission so that, you know, I skip the huge line to the bathroom. Which there was one, so I'm glad I did that. But then, as I was washing my hands, I hear Emmy Evans, and I'm like, holy shit, she did come out for something. So I freaking ran back out there. Yeah, let me load up Ashes of Dreams, actually. Because if Cypherin hasn't heard that either, he's gonna downgrade this to a D- after he hears it. Hang on. Not that one. Oh, right, there's multiple of these. This should be the English one.
There were trees full of birds, meadowlands vibrant with flowers, carefree the songs our children once sang, gilding the minutes.
He downgraded it again.
Clouds came and covered
I'll bring the volume back up during the chorus, but to answer DS's question, that song that I was playing right before I started this one, that was what they ended the concert with. Dark Colossus was what they ended it with. So it was a very fast and very dramatic song. I mean, it wasn't a bad song to end it with, it's just there were other songs that I wanted them to play that they totally didn't. Okay, here we go, hang on.
Hidden so deep in veils of deceit, imprisoned in twisting spells, are we the plaything of fiends, or merely the dreams that we're telling ourselves, telling ourselves?
So, yeah. Having her not sing that was kind of a big downer. And that's why, like, I said before, like, the thing I agree most with Galen about is the fact that they didn't have her sing this, especially since she and her father collaborated on lyrics for it. But okay, I think I've said my piece about the Nier concert now. So I think we should move on to the final day of the trip, which had a bunch of other stuff happening. Because again, like, originally my objective was Nier concert. Everything else just formed up around it. The arcade happened Thursday, ended up spending 9 hours out in that area. That ended up being the real highlight. But also, Elegy is another streamer that I follow. Really nice guy, really supportive of other streamers. Will, like, give people tips, and you know, tips on how to, you know, what to focus on in their streams and focus on improving and stuff. And is just like a huge variety streamer. I had a lot of fun watching him play Persona 3 and Persona 4 because I didn't finish either of those games. But he's one of the only streamers I know who clearly prepares for each stream. He comes up with a gag for the title of his stream every time. He has background layouts prepared for each game that he's going to play. He'll sometimes have, like, specific playlists prepared for, like, certain franchises, series, whatever. Oh, hang on. Break. Okay, I think we've rubbed it in how much this version is better. No, I was just making space to hear the bridge here in the song. Yeah, I don't prepare too much either. I feel bad about it, but also, like, it's kind of a catch-22. It's like, I don't have too many viewers, so, like, I don't know how much time I should sink into it. But anyway, so, I've given Elegy enough praise. He was a really good guy, and once I told him I was coming out to Chicago, he was like, we should see if we can, you know, figure something out and get together. And it turned out that Saturday worked for him, and it turned out that was perfect for me, because, like, Thursday was the perfect day for me to get to the Galloping Ghost, because I had nothing slated for that day. Thursday was a buffer day to make sure that I got there before the concert, because it's Chicago, weather happens. And I got there with, you know, very little delay, maybe an hour. Nothing super crazy happened. So we settled on Saturday for getting together, and that was perfect because I was checking out of the hotel. I could just throw my stuff in his car trunk, and we could go around a bunch of places. So, first place we hit up was Mitsuo, which is a Japanese marketplace. It's pretty cool even from the outside, but going on into it, welcome. They have a mascot, Niton. You can already see that there's, like, a whole bunch of, like, groceries and stuff in here. They've got a whole bunch of like stalls set up. They've also got a Kinokuniya inside of Mitsuwa, which was a real thrill to me because like I've seen the Kinokuniya in New York City, which is like multiple floors and everything, and like I told Elegy that, and he was like, "Oh sure, your Kinokuniya is way better. Geez, why'd I even bother bringing you in here?" But like, I was just excited to see another one. I was like, I don't know how many of these there even are in the U.S., so I thought that was pretty damn cool. Alright, I'm gonna double-click on Copied City again, because it's here. Which is pretty much exactly where I started off when I started the recap stream. Also, shout out to myself. I have a cover of this on YouTube. If you're viewing this on the web, my YouTube channel is linked below my stream. It is already my most viewed video on YouTube, eclipsing the Mega Man X ending theme, which had, I think, a 3-year head start on this. So that tells you how much more views it's gotten. I'm still small time, don't worry. But yeah. So there's this Kinokuniya inside. Got a few pictures of that. There's apparently Splatoon manga, because why not, I guess. This was actually in the front of it. I didn't, like, I don't think I took specific note of... Well, actually, I think I did take note of this and just forgot to take the picture on the way in. Yeah, Copied City is always hype. So, now outside of there, we've got more of the grocery section. Got some mushrooms over there. Got a whole bunch of stuff I can't read over here. Kinokuniya is the name of the chain of bookstores. So when I say a Kinokuniya, it's like saying a Barnes & Noble, or a Borders, or a... Borders doesn't exist anymore, right? What other bookstores even exist anymore? You know, a Best Buy, a Walmart. It's a proper noun. It is the name of the bookstore, and it is a chain. So I know of the one in New York City, which is big. And now I know of the one that's inside Mitsuwa. Now, I forgot, Cypherin, you might know this. Is Mitsuwa itself a chain? I want to think it is. I'm pretty sure it is. I don't know if there's any others in the US, but... So this was noteworthy because Elegy hadn't been here in, like, a year or two, and they refinished this area. So he actually, like, had me take pictures, and also he had me send them to him so he could send them to his wife and show her. So, like, this road outing on Saturday ended up being kind of mutually beneficial to both me and Elegy because he got to see some places that he either hadn't gotten around to in a while or had been meaning to get around to and never did. We'll see some of those later. I think this is probably... Was this the seafood aisle? Yeah. Yeah, this is where you got fish and rolls and all sorts of stuff, it looks like. You've also got milk. You know, it's still a regular grocery store, too. You've got milk. I think this is, like, Sassy Cow. Yeah. Sassy Cow milk. Are your cows sassy? I don't know if my cows are sassy. I don't know if I want my cows to be sassy. Isn't that when the milk goes bad before the date that's printed on it? I found this kind of hilarious. I meant to post this in PJ's Discord, but I didn't. Because it's like, thank you for shopping here. Please check out our liquor and beer department. It's like, thanks for shopping. Now please make some regrettable decisions. So yeah, here's the beer. And then, here's the other stuff. Like, 2 rows of it. And I had to... Elegy probably wondered what the hell I was doing. Because, like, we were on our way out of the store. But, I caught sight of the ice cream. The ice cream closets on the end of the aisle on the way out. So, took a picture of those ice cream freezers. Closets. Why am I calling it closet? I can't words because it's almost 1 a.m. And I should shut up pretty soon. But we're gonna get through this. What was this that I took a picture of? More, like, box set stuff. Miso soup! I don't know if anybody watched the Canon anime, but that's... Miso soup! Makoto! That was when Makoto filled the entire tub with miso soup. Makoto started out as my least favorite heroine character in that game, and then she ended up being my favorite by the time it was over. Key visual arts will mess with your feelings. That's what they do. This is the bakery. The bakery is super hype in this place. They've got all sorts of freaking awesome desserts and stuff. I've got another picture of this later. And they've got all sorts of bread and stuff, including... We're gonna see this. Including melon pan. The most hilarious thing about this... I would have totally, like, fangasmed over this picture here. I did not notice this picture until I looked back at these photos later. Like, when I was at the airport or something. This is Shana from Shakugan no Shana, which was one of my favorite series of the 2000 decade. So, the fact that they, like, put 2 and 2 together and plastered her all over the melon pan display is just frickin' perfect. I am so proud of them for doing that. Yeah, I actually bought one of these. So what's also hilarious is, like, I was not even paying close attention, and I didn't realize that chocolate chip melon pan was an option. I just immediately instinctively grabbed this one because it looked the most like melon pan. But I have no regrets. I actually I saved it until I got home from the airport here to eat. It got a little bit squished in my backpack, but it was still completely fine, and it was great. I really enjoyed it. This was, like, actually, shout-outs to my dad, because one time he made, like, he actually put together, he made melon pan from a recipe he found online. It required some substitutions, because, like, the actual melon extract is, like, really hard to find or something. But this was the first time that I had, like, store-bought, but clearly, like, fresh-baked melon pan, so I'm a fan. It's more sweet than tart. The line was not long, but, well, yeah, actually, I mean, we went on a Saturday, but it was pretty clear in there. It was Saturday at, like, I don't know, this was before noon. This was 11:37 a.m. So yeah, there was, like, one person getting finished in front of us when we got to the register. But yeah, I would absolutely make a habit of buying melon pan. Even the raisin one was really good. I would have to try the chocolate chip one next time, though, because who the heck isn't going to try that? Unless you just really can't stand chocolate. More baked goods. I would have to, like, go back and try all sorts of random crap at this place, because, like, it all looks amazing. What the heck is this thing? Oh, it's Doraemon's face. Okay. You got Anpanman down there. You got all sorts of stuff here. And then you've got all sorts of... Like, these slices of cakes, I mean, I don't know if you can see these at the proper scale. These things looked huge. So you got strawberry shortcake, English afternoon, tiramisu. Can't... Trifle roll. I was gonna say, what was that letter there? Green tea mousse, Mont Blanc, chocolat, fruit custard. Oh man, I didn't even notice these there. I was too busy, like, being distracted by all these cakes over here. I'm a sucker for fruit custard. But I think I would have to try all of these ones first. I would have to go back here, like, every day of the month and try one. This is absolutely ridiculous. You had strawberry shortcake up here, you have strawberry mousse down here. You have this thing that I can't pronounce. And this looks like another fruit tart, yep. Oh, so that's fruit custard, that's fruit tart. Yeah, fruit tarts are the thing that I've usually done. But I'd try both, why not? Yeah, so this place is friggin' amazing. And that was only half of them. There's more stuff over here. Yeah, this place is amazing. I know there's some Japanese markets in New York City that I have never paid a visit to. I should try to... You know what? There were probably more that were close to where I used to work back when I worked further south on Manhattan. I'll have to look around and see. There's gotta be something close to Union Square, I would have to figure. And that's the area I work in now. Which I've been working remote this month, but I'm gonna be back in the city commuting next month. I might switch to fully remote after that, because the commute is kind of a pain in the butt. We have a great office, but the commute is just... ugh. And I really don't want to relocate to the city. I took a picture of a bidet because why not? I just thought that calling it shower toilet seat was kind of hilarious. I was like, they are talking about a bidet, right? But yeah, they've got the... You know, real talk, I want one of these. But, like, I feel like it's such a gamble and a commitment to, like, try to pick one online and know that it fits your friggin' toilet. But, like, I've used bidets once or twice, and I'm kind of a fan of the concept. You had a little outlet for Royce chocolates here. These you can buy in New York City as well. I know there's, like, standalone outlets for them. But this was, like, on one side of the store, along with this random DVD section. And then there's a food court. So we've got a bunch of pictures of the food court here. All different places. We didn't eat here because we had other plans for eating. That will come right after this, probably. Actually, it might be two things after this. But yeah, just lots of food court stuff. I don't think I would even know what to do with myself here. What is takoyaki? Well, they're going to tell you what takoyaki is. One thing I will say is, right before my company switched locations, like literally the week before it, I found out that there is a place off of Canal Street in New York City. It sells ice cream, but it also specifically sells ice cream in taiyaki cones. So they're like, it's got the full-blown like fish shape and, you know, and embellishments and everything, and it's actually got like bean filling in it. So like I actually like got a taiyaki cone like a couple days before the last day we were in that office, and I do not regret it at all. It was probably pretty expensive too. I don't care. So this is us saying goodbye to Mitsuwa. After that, oh yeah, there's a few things in here. After that, we hit up the... Crap, what the hell was the name of this mall? Was it the Woodfield Mall? Something like that. Here's your... I don't suppose this actually says the name of the mall somewhere. I don't think it does. But yeah, you can see my reflection and Elegy's reflection there. Oh well. It's a very shiny thing. But yeah, you've got... I don't think I noticed half of these stores when I was there. But, let's turn that down a little bit more. But yeah, just gonna be a lot of random stuff here. Like, okay, we've got Sears, we've got the dining pavilion, which, more food court stuff. We didn't really spend any time here, but interestingly enough, there was this thing called Pac-Man Entertainment, which we're guessing is basically a Dave & Buster's. We didn't venture in, because, again, we had plans to go somewhere else anyway. Chipotle. I have to take a picture of every Chipotle I find, because I have this... There's just this running gag with a couple friends I have in Kentucky that, like, they have to travel, like, half an hour to get to a Chipotle, and I have two within 5 minutes of where I live. And, I ran across at least two when I was out and about with Elegy. They didn't do this song D-. This would have been a tough one for them to do. See, alright. Unpopular opinion. I tried Qdoba back during SGDQ 2017, because there was one near the location. Because there was a Chipotle and there was a Qdoba, and that was in Minneapolis, where a lot of places are closed on, like, weekends or after 5 and whatever, so, like, there was one day that I went to the Chipotle and it was closed, and I was like, well, I guess Qdoba's getting my business, they're open. I am more a fan of Chipotle than Qdoba. I seem to be the only person in that camp out of people who have tried both. I don't know, I wasn't as sold on Qdoba. There's something about Chipotle that I just like. Maybe it's less genuine, you know, Mexican whatever, but, I mean, I don't expect it to be totally legit Mexican. But, like, I don't know. I like it. Hard Bond Ion, huh. Random shot of the 3 levels of this place. So I think I had a shot of when we first came in, where you can see, oh yeah, there were a couple of interesting architectural pieces here. So one, you've got these almost crisscrossing, at least from this angle, ramps between levels. So I thought that was interesting. This is super interesting because you've got 2 escalators from either side joining up to this one escalator. Not sure I've ever seen that before. Alright, let's go back to where we were. When Qdoba does it right, which you admit might be getting rarer, they steam the tortilla and have options you like that Chipotle doesn't. Okay. So, like, I know Chipotle was definitely late to the queso train, and then they charge extra for queso, which I don't remember if Qdoba does anyway, but, like, I think Qdoba had, like, queso options way before Chipotle did. So, like, I felt like that was Chipotle specifically playing catch-up. Ketchup? What's ketchup doing in a Chipotle? No. Anyway. More random shots. This was the Nestle Toll House store, which smelled very nice. Didn't buy anything here. I was generally avoiding buying food to try to take with me, because I didn't, like, I had the melon pan already. I wasn't, like, trusting a lot of food to, like, make the trip home. There's a Cheesecake Factory over there. Christmas treasures. 50% off. It's frickin' the end of January, dude. Yeah. I don't know what they do with this store during the other, 11 months of the year. Well, to be fair, the other 9 months of the year. Because I'm sure this place starts up in, like, November at the latest. If you ever meet me in person and bring me Chipotle, check it for ketchup. Oh god. What have I done? If you do that, I'll just give it to my dad, because he'll put ketchup in anything. I'm pretty sure they don't have ketchup in Chipotle restaurants, though, so that would require effort. So yeah, naturally I went into the Christmas store because it was the most ridiculous thing there. Tons of ornaments. I was debating getting an ornament to bring back for my mother, but because, like, she's crazy about ornaments, but I don't usually bother with souvenirs, and again, I was worried about it making the trip intact. Also, Elegy took a shot of one of the ornaments here in particular. I think I might have a shot of it later. We also have a lot of mugs, and also a lot of completely, like, unconventional, I don't know how you would reasonably drink out of this mugs, but they're cute. I guess you would store things in these rather than drink out of them. Also, more dog and cat stuff. I just want to be a stay-at-home cat mom. Dog, noun, loyal companion, four-legged therapist, best friend. The reason my heart is happy and full. All guests must be approved by the dog. Oh yeah, here it is. So Elegy took a shot of this and put it on Twitter, and he was like, "Congratulations, William. You are the #1 gamer." There were other ones behind this that are actually blank. I don't know whether you can get them custom filled in there, or what exactly. There were a couple of things like that. Cute to practical is a spectrum, yeah. But yeah, like, clearly modeled after, like, Minecraft and stuff. Clearly trying to appeal to, you know, that grandma audience or something. Oh, I have to upload this image and show somebody I work with. So the other thing about... Funny thing, this ties back to something I mentioned earlier, which is completely irrelevant otherwise. The place that sells Taiyaki cone ice cream also has specifically a unicorn ice cream, where they put rainbow sprinkles on vanilla ice cream, and they also put a sugar unicorn horn on the top of it. And I specifically got one of those for my coworker, because my coworker is, like, super into unicorns. So when I saw this... This is totally not... This does not qualify as a Christmas tree, I'm sorry. But this qualifies as something that my coworker would be very interested in. So... I need to remember to send that one. This is a place that Elegy specifically dipped into. He and his wife come here on somewhat of a regular basis, I expect, because they're pretty familiar with, like, some of the types of things they have there. So Elegy was naturally like... trying out a few like rubs and a few of the liquid spices that they have here. So they have like a whole bunch that you can just like you know, get a scent of. They've got like sample jars and whatnot. Where's the mocha one? I think the mocha one sits here, but it's out of its spot right now. Because I think that one, I was kind of eyeballing that, and Elegy ended up being really interested in it and buying a jar, a shaker full of it. So, and I realized, after I took this picture, I realized, shit, Elegy's wearing the perfect shirt for this. So I actually got this picture and I tweeted about that because it's like his followers will get a kick out of that, and yeah, quite a few of them did. you know, smelling a bunch of like spice rubs and whatnot, and he's got a salt shaker shirt on. All right, completely changing gears. This was inside of a place called Too Cool, which I don't know of here. Like, I did not know this place existed. They have a lot of cute stuff. They have a lot of Pusheen stuff. I made sure to take pictures of the Pusheen stuff because my work Slack has a lot of Pusheen emotes, which is mostly the responsibility / blame of someone who no longer works there, but I had to take this picture because of that and show it to them. This is the front of the place. There was this Cocoa Lounge. We didn't go in here, but it looked like an interesting idea. Garrett. Gotta talk about Garrett. I was not familiar with this place. Apparently it is a pretty popular thing in the Chicago area. They do popcorn. Apparently something that's really popular is what I think is called the Chicago Mix, which is basically you just put cheddar popcorn and caramel popcorn into the same bucket. I got a tiny sample of that. It was good. This was definitely a thing where, like, I absolutely would have been tempted to buy some, and Elegy did buy some, but, like, I didn't trust it making it home on the plane. I was afraid it would have been pulverized. But yeah, I would definitely make it a point to get some of that if I were back in the area and found a Garrett's. Why did I take this picture? I don't know. I think it was just getting a random scenery shot of stuff around the area. And also getting a sense of the weather, because like it was a little snowy and definitely a bit foggy for some of the time we were out there, but it was mostly lenient to us. I think it was snowing slightly when we were going into Mitsuwa, but later it was fine. So, disc replay. This is the other thing to talk about. Elegy was kind of like just winging it in terms of like trying to like find things to just kill time for me before I had to go to the airport. And and we realized, like, we kind of, like, went through the mall in what felt like record time. So, like, I randomly just thought of, hey, wait a minute. A thing that we usually do during GDQs is, like, scout out retro stores. So, like, you got any retro game stores? And he was like, dude, that's a really good call. And the reason he was interested in it was there's a disc replay in his area of Illinois, but it's a really, like, worn down, dilapidated, leaky roof type place, so it's not too great. So he wanted to go out and look at a couple other disc replays anyway, so this was actually an opportunity for the both of us. Oh yeah, that's right, you were asking me which disc replays we went to. I think I properly identified both of them. You used to live near this, okay. Yeah, so then you'll recognize some of this. So this is just me behind Elegy going in there. We got some third person behind the Elegy, behind the Eledude shots. But this is like the DVD section. And then I noticed like a bunch of the retro game stuff. And the more modern video game stuff over here. So, naturally, I was more interested... I think a bunch of people were more interested in the retro games than anything else. So, got a few shots of that. They had a really nice, like, layout of, like, NES, Super NES, N64, Sega, what have you. I waded through all of the SNES stuff. I knew what I was looking for. They also had Atari stuff in the, like... My dad actually still has a suitcase full of Atari games, so, like, I didn't need to look at that. I have them if I want them. If I want to play them. But I looked for any noteworthy things. I was hoping to find a Guardian Legend cart for NES, or a Darius Twin cart for Super NES. Didn't end up finding those. Turns out Zaki has an extra Guardian Legend cart because at one point he thought his first one was not working or something, but it ended up being the system, not the cart. Fortunately for him, he didn't get rid of the cart. I made that mistake with a couple of SNES games when I thought they were bad, but it was actually the system. I eventually rebought Mystical Ninja, but I know there's a couple of games that I never got back. But yeah, speaking of Zaki has speedrun this game. Speedrunning this game is brutal because there's a lot of mashing involved. So, Fester's Quest, I saw a copy of that here. I saw, I think, a couple of copies of it in the other disc replay we had up. More hockey things. Also, more Ikari Warriors and Heavy Barrel. We saw those side by side in the arcade. They're almost side by side here. They actually do a good job of alphabetizing at this place. And there's Fester's Quest up there, actually. I don't know what the heck this Jalico thing is, because, like, isn't Jalico a company that makes video games, not a video game? I should have looked into that. Like, that just confused me. Here I took a picture of this. This is another thing that I meant to send McFly that I forgot to, because there's a Zombies Ate My Neighbor's cart here. And he recently played through that, like, before GDQ. There's also Castlevania 4 right next to it. There you go, Cypherin. I think we got Link to the Past next to that. That says Williams. This could be a bad card over here. Is that Alien vs. Predator on SNES? We got UN Squadron there, Donkey Kong Country 3. And then Tetris DX, which I own. So they had some Game Boy and Game Boy Color and Game Boy Advance stuff as well. I should have kept an eye out for Metroid Zero Mission, but I'm pretty sure I would have noticed it if I was, like, or Elegy would have or something. Did I price check anything? I mean, there was nothing I was interested in buying, so no. I mean, $20 is about what I would expect at a retro store for a lot of these anyway. At least for, like, SNES and stuff. And they had, like, things that were far more rare on the top on display. I think I have a picture of those. Before that, though, we have a sighting of a Jim Power cartridge. This one they only want $13 for. That seems like a fitting price. Because you're generally unlucky if you've played that game on Super NES. What's wrong with Zero Mission? That was like the one thing that I kicked myself for not buying on Game Boy Advance. I thought some of the stuff they did in that was really interesting. Okay, yeah, here it is. Here's the rare stuff. Bubble Bobble Part 2, very rare, $375. And they also had some complete in-box stuff up here, too. They also have Double Dragon 3. I didn't even notice that until now. Oh yeah, it's definitely not Super Metroid Engine. It's definitely much closer to, like, Fusion, if anything. It's much more, like, clingy and stuff. Also have original Metroid, have Castlevania, Contra. Yeah, here we go. Here's the complete in boxes. So I know Super Mario 3 was here. I don't remember what was behind it if I really looked. Yeah, it has ledge grabs. Yep. Alright, so this is the end of the first disc replay we went to. I mentioned we had other plans for lunch. We were going to Portillo's for lunch because Elegy had already suggested it to me, and then Asian Waste was also like, you guys gotta go to Portillo's while you're here. So that's what we did. I was definitely not disappointed. Has a very, you know, like, 1920s-ish feel to it. Really, you know, lots of work put into just the environment and everything. So, like, it's fast casual, but, like, I feel like you don't see this amount of work put into the atmosphere of fast casual restaurants usually. But yeah, they do Polish sausage, they do Italian beef. Elegy and I got Italian beef while I was there. Cypher may need to take a trip. I mean, I figure I'm assuming there's got to be a Portillo's close to you. But I think this one was really close to that disc replay, actually, so it worked out. But yeah, I just kind of got a bunch of shots of the scenery. They have pictures of, like, people who visited there, which I immediately noticed Guy Fieri. I also noticed one of the dudes from Law & Order, I think. More, like, advertisements and artwork and merchandise and stuff. And this is what we got. We got Italian beef, we got fries and cheese. They actually goofed on our order. So each of us got a drink, but then Elegy pitched the cake shake to me, so we got one of those. For some reason, they gave us not only a regular cake shake, which is what he ordered, they also gave us an extra large one. That is way too much to finish. That thing is sweet as heck. You will regret it if you try to finish this thing. Oh, you meant a trip to disc replay, okay. Yeah, I was wondering if he was from Chicago. But yeah, cake shake, it's a good thing to have in moderation. Elegy had said he hadn't had one in a long time, so, and he wasn't going to have one, but they gave him an extra, so, okay. It's an experience. Yeah, it's literally a slice of chocolate cake blended into a chocolate milkshake. So, they give you a straw, they also usually, well, you can get a straw, but they also usually give you a spoon, in case you have to resort to that. But it was much more shake consistency than, like, frosty consistency or something. Yeah, it's very sweet. It's very overboard. It's a neat idea, but I wouldn't make a habit of it. Like, ice cream shakes, you know, milkshakes or whatever in general, sure, I can do that. Cake shake, I would really have to be in the mood for. I took a picture of this because that's another Chipotle. And this is the second disc replay we went to. I think Cypher and I dug up what locations they were in our DM group, but I don't remember what they were now. So, this one had some really interesting stuff. They had a few Japanese Super Famicom carts, and actually 3 of these got bought out from right under our nose. Someone bought the Street Fighter 2, the Donkey Kong, and the Donkey Kong 2. And I feel like Elegy looked a little sad because, like, DKC 2 means a lot to Elegy. But they also had US carts of it that we saw later. Also, there's a place in New York City that I won't find them complete in box, but I can find Super Famicom carts there. I've probably seen at least one of the DKCs there. I need to go back there. It's called No Particular Hours, because they have no particular hours. It's basically a garage that sells all sorts of, like, just, a lot of it's, like, old quote-unquote junk that's, you know, not necessarily junk. But they also have a section that's just any Famicom and Super Famicom and Japanese N64 carts. I have no idea where they get them, but they're all super cheap there. I don't think they're bootleg, but I really wonder. Oh, let me show you. Yeah, this is the disc replay. It's got Scuba, Discount Mattress, neighboring it. Once Upon a Baby. There was a Burlington Coat Factory near it. I know that because I had to hit a restroom really bad after this second disc replay, and that's the only place around that we found one. Took a picture of this. Actually, I took another picture later because I forgot that I already took it. We got Solomon's Key sighted here, and I sent that to McFly. We also had a few shmup sightings here. Also, I've seen Road Blasters everywhere. I have that game. It's kind of not remarkable. I probably have a picture of one or more of the shmups. Hang on, let's see. What is this? No, that's Street Fighter. We got Aladdin. We got Primal Rage, the SNES version. We've got Lagoon. This is why I took this picture. Elegy took a picture of this too, because Elegy and the Monolith did a set of no relation episodes, which is their thing, because they joke that, like, Elegy is Monolith's father. They're not actually related. The Monolith lives in Australia, for crying out loud, where Elegy lives near Chicago. But they played Lagoon, and it was friggin' hilarious, because, I don't know, they went on this whole rant about how the main character is Toothpick Sword McFloaty Cape, and he just has this huge hard time because all his swords are just, like, tragically short. Oh, and also that's where their recurring gag of, "You, champion of lights," came from. That has been a recurring meme on Elegy's stream since then, and also Monolith's, I think. Because, Nasir, the main character, is given the title Champion of Light in, like, the beginning cutscene. But yeah, Lagoon, not a good game. I have played through it, I have highlights of it. I actually managed to beat it, which I never did as a kid. So that was hindsight in 2018 or something. That was 2018 hindsight or something like that. We had Final Fantasy Mystic Quest here too. Yeah, here's your Donkey Kong Country stuff over here. Super Mario All-Stars, Super Mario World. This place had a bunch of stuff. Here's your shmups. You got Gradius 3 here. I want to think I saw a Super R-Type. I don't know if I got a picture of it. This is the same stuff from a different angle. Oh, and D-Force. The worst shmup in existence on Super NES, if you don't count Jim Power's shmup stages. No, D-Force is probably still actually worse. I have a card of this. My dad bought it. I don't know why. I'm kind of ashamed to have a card of that, but I do. This looked interesting. I have no idea what Terra Presta is, but I need to look that up. But it looks like an NES shmup to me. Not seeing anything else super notable that I wanted to point out here. Actually, what was under here? That's another copy of Gradius 3. Yeah, this was when I took another picture of Solomon's Key, because I forgot I already did. This, I was surprised to find. This is a boxed version of The Messenger, which I'm pretty sure was originally just a downloadable title. And I know at least a couple of people who were into this game. It's not my sort of thing. It's very much too, like, Super Meat Boy-esque for me. But that seemed noteworthy. And, yeah, this was at the tail end of... This is a terrible shot. I did not steady the camera beforehand. But I realized that I completely frickin' forgot to actually get a picture of me with Elegy. So we did that right before I got out of the car at the airport. So this was him dropping me off, basically. And then I've got a few random shots of the O'Hare Airport, which, I don't know, if you're curious, if you've never been there, they've got a couple of little things to look at. They've got this little, like, garden-ish thing that I guess if you want that sort of light, then there's a bunch of places to sit around there if you want it. Cubs Bar and Grill, Brioche Dorée. Those are the only pictures I got. There's actually, so I know there was like a Chinese or Thai place somewhere tucked in the G gates, the area that I was in. And I think there was actually like a bunch of other stuff, because there's like a sign that... Oh, actually, I think it might even be this... No, it might not be that sign. There's a sign that, like, lists a bunch of different restaurants that are in that wing, but I never discovered half of them, so I don't know. They might have been further down past the Asian restaurant that I didn't really, like, bother checking out. But yeah, also, alright, let's catch up on the rest of the tweets, just to see. So yeah, I tweeted one thing at the end of the day with a few of those pictures from the excursion with Elegy. But yeah, the one other thing, I gotta give this guy a shout out. I told him I was gonna shout him out on Twitter, which was mostly pointless because I have, like, you know, 30-something followers. No, I have more than that. I follow 30-something people. I think I have like 70 or something. But yeah, this guy at the Chili's, there's a couple of Chili's too, which are basically like small Chili's installments with a limited. It's like a limited Chili's with a smaller menu. And there's a couple of these in the airport at different gates. The O'Hare Airport site actually like has a list of like what restaurants are where. So that was pretty helpful. But like my flight out got delayed, but then it got undelayed. And that actually happened twice. Like when I was out with Elegy, I saw it get delayed, then I saw it get pushed ahead again, and then I saw it get delayed, and I was like, I don't know what to think. I'm not going to take chances, because like we were considering going to a third disc replay, but I was like, you know what, I'm not going to chance it. If you're saying it's going to take 40 minutes to get to the airport, then let's just do that and not make either of us have to worry about it. And it turns out that was a good thing. Because right as I decided to, like, as I basically made up my mind, I'm going to save the melon pan for at home, and I'm going to eat something here. As I sat down at this Chili's too, or like right before I sat down at it, I got an email that the flight had bumped ahead again. So that gave me like 20 minutes from when I sat down at the Chili's 2 to when I would have to board. And this guy, like, I was like, I gotta be straight with you, man. I just found out that my flight got bumped ahead, so it's like 20 minutes from now. Do you think I have time to eat here? And he's like, yeah, if you know what you want, we'll put in your order right away. We'll get it. We'll get it done. And I trusted him, and he got it done. He got it done in like 5 minutes. He got me the check right away. He even, like, as I was leaving, because I only ordered water, he like offered to like refill my water and put a cap on it. Like, dude, this guy went above and beyond what I would expect. Especially at like just a random ass airport restaurant where you probably, you know, have to deal with a gazillion people a day. So, big shout-outs to Todd at the Chili's 2 at Gate G10. Oh, also shout-outs to him because, like, they had, like, they had a playlist going of, like, you know, classic, like, Motown and stuff. And he was, like, he would just sporadically sing to every song that came on. And I mean, sure, he's not the greatest singer, but, like, I don't know. I like the dude, I like the guy's attitude. It seemed like the two people that I saw working there had really good attitudes, and, like, that's a really welcome sight in an airport because, like, it's an airport. A lot of people, I'm sure, just don't want to be there. So, like, for people to put that much, you know, put that much effort into their job and, you know, really seem to enjoy doing it and actually go that much out of their way for people that come to it, like, that's, to me, that's huge, and I can't say enough good things about that. So, yeah, let me actually change music since I'm mentioning this in the tweet. This is kind of hilarious. Is it this one? Yeah. I'm gonna have to skip part of this to make the point of the tweet. But like, I don't know, 3/4 of the way through the flight, I switched to just listening to the Nier soundtrack on my headphones, because I was like, this will give me a good retrospective on the concert. Again, at this point, I didn't know that it was the 2 orchestral arrangement albums, which I didn't have with me anyway. But yeah, as we were landing, the more climactic half of this song was going on, and that definitely makes landing a lot more exciting. And it also makes the music a lot more exciting. So I'm gonna skip ahead to it, hang on. This should be pretty close. It should be like right here, where it gets into it. Wait for it. Thank you. Actually, this is one song, going back to the concert, this is one song that Galen didn't feel confident they would do, and they did it. It was no choir, which didn't make any sense, because they had a freaking choir. So that was another disappointing moment, but they did do this song, and it was really good that they did. This is a song that you need to have in a Nier concert. But yeah, imagine listening to this while your plane is landing, so you've got like a little bit of turbulence going on, kind of adds to it. I'm only being half sarcastic, like it actually did add to it. Like I was like, you know what? I trust my pilot. This is actually kind of exciting. But yeah. And yeah, in all seriousness, can't wait to cover the Piano Collection's version of this song in a few months. I will be doing that. I am working my way through roughly half of the Nier Piano Collection right now. I already posted Song of the Ancients last month. I will be posting another song this weekend for the turn of February. I am hoping to have another one prepared from time for March. April, I kind of want to stretch goal something, but I'm not sure if it'll be able to come together because it requires me working with one other person, and I've never done that for a YouTube video before. So, but one way or the other, there will be more Nier stuff happening on my YouTube channel, at least through this half of the year, pretty much. But yeah, I owe a huge thanks to Cypherin, who's also been hanging out here. Thanks for hanging out. It's also stupid late here. It's slightly less stupid late in Cypherin's neck of the woods since they're Central Time, but Cypherin is who gave me the thought of the Galloping Ghost, and actually I was talking to someone randomly at work last week who lives in the Chicago area, and she was like, "Oh yeah, Galloping Ghost, you should totally do that. It's like $20 and you're in the whole day and everything." So like she knew about it too. So yeah, Galloping Ghost ended up being the biggest highlight of the trip, and Elegy taking me all these places in his car on Saturday was huge because it gave me stuff to do on Saturday rather than just sitting in an airport being bored for 5 hours. So like, again, the Nier concert was the one thing that I came into, like, that was the one thing that prompted the trip, and I was totally, like, not confident I was going to make anything out of the rest of the trip. I made a ton out of this trip, dude. This trip was totally worth it because of all the stuff that ended up happening. And I kind of reflected on that here. To be honest, if I'd ended up only out in Chicago for the Nier concert, I probably would be regretting the amount of time and money I poured into it. It wasn't even that the other stuff rounded out the trip. I'd say the concert became the backdrop around the other stuff. There will definitely be a Chicago recap stream. You might or might not be watching that right now. It will probably be Monday. Yeah, that was before my ISP just went to crap for the entire week until this afternoon, this evening. Like, I even tested this afternoon, it was still bad. So they must have done something. I'm still dropping a few frames here and there. In fact, I'm dropping a few right now. But I've dropped 0.2% of frames. For perspective, every other time I tested this week, I was dropping 20% or more. So, a little bit better. It's not quite 0%. I know that I am capable of dropping 0%, so I know something's still slightly up. But we're almost back in business. Yeah, I did make the remark about the melon pan here. Just had it now, it was great. And I didn't notice the Shotgun Ashana until I frickin', like, looked at the picture when I got home. Okay, and then, yeah. So, January 27th was Monday. I didn't tweet for an entire 2 days, really? Yeah. This was when I talked to Boogaloo about it. This might explain a lot. He pointed out that the setlist for the Nier concert nearly exactly matched the two pre-existing orchestral arrangement albums. Based on a quick scan, the arrangements seemed pretty close to what I recall hearing last week. And I mentioned that I mentioned Galen on that because, again, he was really critical of the concert and he was trying to make sense of, like, why were the arrangements just so not up to snuff? And his response was, I remember listening to that album once and having a similar reaction, so you know what? That tracks. At least now I have a culprit. And also I'm guessing that the prior concert that the Cypherin was thinking of was the Memories of Puppets, which seems to have a lot more vocals. So yeah, we solved the mystery. 50% drop session. Yeah, that's what I try to avoid. Oof. That's why, like, I don't want to commit to doing the things that I want to commit to doing until I know my internet's actually stable again. And yeah, this is this is when I noticed the internet was totally freaking farts again afterwards. But yeah, that's gonna do it for the, we'll just leave it there, even though the picture is really blurry. We'll just leave it there for the recap, but, again, I feel like, wasn't there a tweet where I, like, where was the tweet that I commented on the concert? Oh yeah, here it was, because at the end I said, don't want to spoil for folks going tomorrow. Yeah, that's why I haven't been specific about it until now, because I didn't want to, I didn't want to spoil it for Boogaloo, especially, because I know he follows me, and he was going on Saturday. So, but Boogaloo liked it. I thought it was cool, but, you know, there are ways in which I feel it fell short. So, I'm just really thankful to Cypherin and to Elegy for making so much more out of the vacation that I spent in Chicago.